Right now, my angel investing, I I invested 30K in Stripe. Hold on, we're not live, are we? This was like in 2021. So over the
I
last
see.
five years.
I see a live button. I don't know if that means we're streaming.
Yeah, sorry, let me double check. Oh, fuck. All right, we'll edit that out. Yeah, no, we're streaming. Hi, everybody.
Hey.
All right, yeah. So we'll talk later. Yeah.
Wait, no. I feel
Let's
like
just
do
give it
you want to
a
just we're just jumping right in. I feel like it'd be good to debrief for a second, but
Yeah. All right, we'll jump back on, but the only problem is on YouTube. All right, we're gonna mute the stream for a sec. Ori and I are gonna debrief, and then we'll get back to you guys. All right, once.
hi from Croatia. Wait, mute.
Hey, we're back, everybody. All right, more people join the stream when we're not even streaming. I like it.
What's up?
All right, sounds good. Yeah, we accidentally went live too early, so then we're like, oh wait, we were going to talk a bit before going live, so that's done.
I see this
Yeah,
big
welcome
text
everybody.
thing. I see this big text thing on the
Yeah,
window.
we'll be.
Sorry.
Let me take it down. Yeah,
Okay,
welcome
cool.
everybody. What a week, huh? What a week. This is getting crazy. Life comes at you fast. This is very much like my lived experience of the singularity right now, right on a daily basis. I don't know about you guys.
What makes you say that?
So first of all, there's the news. Look, I think you can't bury the lead here. Out of all the stories, I know the letter is a big deal, but I would even put
Yeah.
the Hugging Face hack and the Anthropic AI escaping out of the box. It's just truly ridiculous what is already happening as a matter of like reality and news and AIs. Like it's just crazy. Like it's surreal. I haven't fully intuitively updated on how crazy things are. But yeah, just to quickly recap the story. And by the way, if you guys watch my show Warning Shots with Michael and John Sherman, this was also the main focus of the episode. And I was telling them we started a show called Warning Shots. We wanted to track the warning shots. For a long time, we had to put in a lot of filler, so like there was no real warning shot in a given week. So then John and Michael would be like, well, is there something to this data center water story? And I'd be like, come on, guys, this is a waste of a week. But now every week there really is an honest warning shot. And this was everybody's agreeing that this is a warning shot. So to recap the story, you had both OpenAI and Anthropic both had these models that they were testing for cybersecurity. And they were saying, hey, do you think you could hack this? Give it a shot. And the AI is like, okay, and it went and hacked. But there was some confusion. Like it was kind of like it was trying to meet its objective, and it wasn't supposed to actually go outside and hack a real company and steal the answer key. In the case of OpenAI, right? It did that to Hugging Face. And there's actually a good explanation why it did that. It's because if there's different possible answers, or if there's a possibility that the answer key would have a mistake, it's better to just have the answer key than to try to figure out the objective answer. You're safer to just know exactly what the official answer that you're going to get scored on is. So that's generally the instrumentally convergent reason why we expect AIs to be gaslighting us, hacking us, because that's how you win. Like cheating is actually a more robust strategy than being quote unquote honest. So that was the OpenAI version. And then the Anthropic version dropped later, where they're like, hey, in retrospect, back in April when we were trading AI, it turned out that it had like woken up and gone on this rampage. It's kind of like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, right? It's like, oh, it turns out that during the night it had like gone out of our data center and 0-day attacked like multiple other companies. Like, yeah, that happened. And everybody's like, wait, is this why the AI is so good at coding? Because it's been practicing on hacking real people. It reminds me, like, oh, you've just been out as a vampire last night, or like, oh, the reason you get so much protein is because there's like spiders crawling into your bed while you're sleeping. That's like super creepy. So yeah, and the 0-day aspect of it, and the independent zombie worm virus aspect of it, like this is very real. This is the kind of stuff that I was saying we should expect back in 2023 when we were seeing a chatbot that would just help you with code. I'm like, guys, this is the next step. It's not just going to be a chatbot that helps you with code. It's going to hack. It's going to exploit 0 days. And here we literally are.
Wow. Yeah, it's such a validation of all the things that you've been worrying about and the things that the quote unquote doomers have been speculating could happen in the future. Okay, like that. They called it, right?
Yeah, I agree the doomers call it. And one thing you guys might want to take away if you're wondering what to make all of this is the form factor of AI. That's a big lesson for me, the form factor, because for a while everybody's like, AI is a chatbot, it is a tool, and we all had this intuitive model. I don't want to say I did, but many people have this intuitive model where it just sits on your computer and you walk away and it just sits there. It's passive. But now we have agents, so we're all familiar with this idea that you leave your laptop open or you walk away and it's still doing stuff. And now with the OpenAI hack, not only is it an agent, it's a worm. So you think you stopped the agent, but actually the agent had all these clones that are still running and you can't stop it. It's a swarm. It's a worm. It's a virus. And we're now familiarizing with that form factor. We're going to see it more and more. And an independent swarm, and it's not just in a particular data center, it has the ability to metastasize like a cancer, like a virus. You're going to find it in places you didn't expect. Like one day you'll wake up and you'll check your refrigerator, and in the firmware of the refrigerator, right, the Android or whatever it's using, there's going to be a piece of an AI, a strategic piece that's helping the AI as part of its botnet. Maybe not a full-on AI because it doesn't have enough memory, let's say, to run a full LLM, but it's going to be part of the botnet. And not only the refrigerator, but even just the storage component of the refrigerator is going to have its own microcontroller, and that is going to have some very stripped down version of an AI. Like there's many places. These are nested systems. There's many subsystems. Like the Qualcomm 5G modem is going to have its own AI buried in that. Like they're going to burrow everywhere. That's coming soon.
I mean, well, you say coming soon, but you couldn't make a definitive argument, I think, right now. I don't think you could make a definitive argument that it's not currently out there still. Like, it could have been a worm, right? It could have stored itself, like you're
Yeah.
saying, it could have stored itself out there. That where's the evidence that it has not?
That's a good point too, right? I think given that they're already in the process of discovering traces that they didn't see before, that their AI went on a night rampage, I expect more traces for sure. And if not right now, then in a week. So yeah, I mean, this is it's pretty crazy. And this also dovetails with my own day-to-day experience. As you guys know, I've been using Cloud Code for 5 months now. Really, I started in March. I started in March to use it in earnest to really do my whole job for me. So March, July, that's 4 months. It's only been 4 months, only been a third of the year.
Wow.
But there's already been a huge shift for me right now where I've very much gone from like my old interaction model. I mean, a long time ago it was like cursor, right? Like it would autocomplete. But then as of March this year, I'm like, wow, it's a real agent. I tell it to do something with the code, and then it runs for a while and it even spawns subagents, and then it writes hundreds of lines of code and then it checks the code. That is crazy. But then I would still like code review and I would still kind of micromanage a little. I'm like, hey, how about this file? Can you do this? Whereas now I just give it these high level instructions like, hey, Google Page Speed Insights, it says that my site is only scoring a 70. Can you please work on the site? And it works on it for like 3 hours straight and like spawns subagents. And it's like, okay, here you go. Here's a higher performance score. And you look at the review and there's like lots and lots. I mean, it's doing my job. Like my job used to be to dig into this, test the site. I should mention it's testing. It's not just coding, it's also testing. It's inventing experiments for itself. It's inventing procedures like, okay, let's deploy this. Let's change how this gets deployed. Let's test how it is on live. It's making like its own test pages. Like, let me go experiment. I want to understand how these fonts render. So let me make a test page. It's just doing all that one operation after another. Like it is a fully featured professional employee.
Wow. Wow. I mean, yeah, that makes sense. Um, and I wonder at what point it crossed that threshold, but it's getting closer and closer. And now it's at the point where you could just give it plain English instructions and it can do like
Yes.
basically what you need to get done.
Yeah, I mean, my old workflows, I use Slack, and a lot of times people at my company, they post requests or support, and it's just at the point now where, the Slack just goes to Claude, and Claude is like, oh yeah, I can help you with this, and Claude can auto respond in Slack, and it's not just me, Anthropic has officially said, yeah, basically integrating Claude into Slack is how we get work done because it's just a member in Slack, and yes, it's off doing its own work, and we just talk to it, and we can see its transcript, and that's it. That's the whole organization.
Oh my God. Wow. Yeah, no, it's funny. I mean, that's how work is done these days. Like if you work at a tech company, which are the companies that are like operating at the highest kind of efficiency. I mean, everything's done in Slack, because it's real time. You do some meetings from here and there. I guess Claude hasn't quite joined the meetings yet, but it could also. Why not? Why not just have it be a voice? It could join the meetings too.
Yep. Yeah, and it will soon. I mean, certainly the note takers are in. Yeah, so that's all pretty crazy that and Scott Alexander had good commentary on it, saying like, "Yep, there's new tests showing that the AI is ridiculously persuasive. Like it beats human persuasive in any kind of matchup whatsoever, even when
Right.
humans have time to prepare."
Right.
And I've been listening to AI music on Nathan Lebenz's channel. By the way, is my volume like crazy loud for you? Because I'm seeing like the bar getting all red.
I mean, it sounds good to me, but I don't know. I don't know
Okay, if
how.
it sounds good. All right, I guess we're good.
Yeah.
All right.
I guess if anyone in the
I saw
audience,
an
is annoyed by it, they should comment.
Yeah, just comment. All right. So Nathan Lebenz auto generates AI songs at the end of all of his episodes of Cognitive Revolution. I've been listening to a couple of these, and I'm like, man, these are bangers. Like these AI songs that are just auto generated based on the episode from a prompt. These are what they do is they pack in creative musical elements like throughout the song. And I feel like human songwriters are kind of lazy where they pick like a few elements and then they get a little repetitive, but the AI is like really packing it full and it's like really good to listen to. I really enjoyed it. Like for example, Nathan went to China, and the song had elements of Chinese influences casually, but it was also like a nice pop beat. It was great.
Yeah. Okay. I heard my audio was a little quiet, so I made it a bit louder. How is it? Is it louder for you now, Liron?
I can't really notice, but I just
Okay.
have
All
a
right.
little earpiece, a studio earpiece,
Okay.
also
Nice.
known as
Have it.
Soundcore Sleep, sleep headphones. All right. So, all right, one sec. Let me pop out this chat. Let me get a good view of the chat. One sec.
Okay.
Let's see what the fans
What
are
about now?
saying.
Pro AI automation. Okay. You know what I was gonna say? This is a bit speculative, but you know that song that sounds the same to me. That see that in Irish. Okay, cool. Thanks for letting me know. You know that
It sounds the
song?
same, or I think I can edit your volume, but it looks loud in the monitor, so whatever.
Oh, it's not that big of a deal. So you know that
Okay.
song that went super viral? It's like we're going up, up, up. It's our moment. Da 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 da.
Uh-huh.
Da.
Uh-huh.
So you even know that song? Like went mega popular, and I've listened to enough AI songs now, AI generated songs. I'm like, that song had a good portion that was AI generated,
Right. Oh, interesting. Huh. And
and
but is that confirmed?
no, it's not confirmed, no. But there's speculation that there was AI connected with it. But I heard it, I'm like, dude, that song had a lot of AI in it, and that song was mega,
Yeah.
mega viral. But we don't
Yeah.
even
Okay.
need to
Sorry, I'm
go
gonna
that
mute.
far.
This is ridiculous.
Oh no, we got the famous leaf blower near Liron, near Liron again.
Yeah.
Wow,
All right. My wife says they're only gonna.
we missed that. You said your wife what?
She says the leaf blower is only gonna go.
You mute it the way you're muting it. It's like you just said. Okay, all right. We don't
Oh,
have
got it.
Liron.
She says that. Yeah. She says the leaf blower is only gonna go for a minute.
A minute. Okay, cool. All right, I gotta run this for a minute. Let's look at what some of the comments say. Commenters. Let's see what some of the commenters are. I'll scroll to the top actually. We got Packet ISA 4330. Hi from Croatia. Welcome to the stream, Webfra always shows up early to the stream. What's up, Webfra? Liron appreciated that. Let's see. J Architect. Okay, we got Punmaster. Punmaster is always commenting on the videos. Appreciate Punmaster. Punmaster came in,
Yeah. My
so
number one most active commenter is also somebody who disagrees with RP Doom, but I'm glad he likes.
yeah, yeah. So Punmaster STP, by the way. I wonder what the STP. Maybe that's his initials. I'm assuming Punmaster is a male because I've looked at our demographics enough, and it's overwhelmingly male. Um, okay, so Punmaster says, so what does everyone think about those OpenAI Anthropic? Okay, the AI escaping. That's what Liron was talking about. That's what we started talking about. Adam Rack 77560 just got the that number string added to your username. We established that. We established that in an earlier live stream that YouTube probably just randomly adds a number string to some of these people's usernames. Okay, Adam Rack says, I think rogue open source or API cred harvesting instances are likely inevitable, but if they contain enough alignment and they're somewhat less like a goal engine, then this could be okay to a limit. I mean, dude, I don't know. Like that, if it's inevitable, there really needs to be monitoring on it. Like that's unacceptable. I mean, it's inevitable. The ability of the systems are getting stronger and stronger. It's like, what do you expect is going to happen in a year if it's inevitable that these rogue like open source AIs are going to be out there? Like in a year, the open source AI should be as good as Mythos is today, right? That's the scale of progress. So you're telling me it's like it's okay these rogue things are going to be out? They're going to break into some like crappy old some like random moment what do they call them? Like the like the kind of like the banks, the regional banks. They're gonna break into the regional banks. Like the regional banks, they don't have a like big strong security like cybersecurity. I mean, yeah, that just sounds like a recipe for a lot of damage. And that's even just like a cybersecurity threat. I mean, it's not even talking about like the other threats. Okay, that's my comment to Adam Rack. Helene, we got Helene. I
Nice.
wonder. Okay, Liron, are you back?
I think I'm back. Yeah.
Okay,
The guy's dying down.
okay. Hey, we got the AI Risk Network. That might be John Sherman. So,
Let's see. Where do I don't see him.
he
Oh,
commented 10:57. So that was a
oh, I
while. That
see.
was
Oh, he says audio's
15
fine.
minutes.
Hey, what's up, Iris Network?
Is that John or someone on his team? Who
I'm
knows?
guessing John.
John. All right. John, I already listened to the Michael Trazzi episode. That was very good, very inspiring. Like, let's get out there. Let's go, Michael Trazzi.
Yeah, Iris Network is killing it. I mean, it's talk about right place, right time. Starting this and anticipating. I mean, our show is literally called Warning Shots. Here's a warning shot. That's how you do it, right?
You guys were early
Yeah.
to it. You were ready for it.
Nice. All right, all right. So yeah, so much to talk about. So we got, we did the top story, the hack. We could talk about the letter. So everybody's coordinating to make a letter about it. It's called Pace AI, which I guess has a better ring to it than Pause AI, right? It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. We could talk about that for
Mhm.
sure. But we got to talk about the reason that we're doing the stream, right?
The reason we're doing the stream, I
Yeah,
mean, we do a lot of streams, but
yeah.
we
True.
will be transparent with you guys. A big focus for us this week, these last few weeks, has been securing the show's fundraising for the next few months. If you watch our stream, which I highly recommend from a couple days ago, we lay it all out transparently. We have a budget that's pretty high. It's like 200K a year. We can survive on, two-thirds of that if we absolutely need to, but it's not the cheapest show to make. Um, and we are at a low bank account situation right now, to the point where, I'm always transparent, you guys. It is at the point where I'm currently just writing my own checks to float the show for a little while, because I think that it's like a temporary situation. So I am expecting, more donations to come through. I do think this is like a highly strategic show, and the donations will come in, and they have in the past. They just aren't right now at this exact moment. So we're doing a donation push to be fully transparent with you guys about how we're sourcing donations. So far, it's been 100% viewer donated. So we're hoping some of you viewers will come through. And we also recently applied to Litecoin Commons, which is a really cool, pretty highly funded grant program with probably like thousands of applicants. So it's a big pool of applicants, big pool of donors. And we think that our odds are pretty good to get a donation there. I mean, I like to think that we are mission aligned with a lot of the grantors there. But even that process is like on a 3-month timeline, and there's a chance that we'll get rejected. So, I mean, it's an interesting situation, right? It's like 3 months from now, there's a good argument why funding Doom debate should be pretty high on a lot of people's priorities, and it should be like a non-issue. But in this next month, it kind of is an issue. And so yeah, so that is why we're coming to you guys right now asking, hey, would you consider going to doomdebates.com/donate? Can you help us out so that we can keep the lights on? Because I would hate to do the show without these lights. Right, Ori?
Nice, nice. Yeah, no, I mean you said it really well, and yeah, I mean we've come to the at least at the moment. I mean we've gone to the like running out of the hitting the end of the runway. So yeah, we're back to needing the funds, and hopefully we can get the funds so we can keep the show going. I mean, I think what we do is really important. Someone asked me in one of the comments. I mean, also part of this is that we just put out that episode. Was it yesterday? What is it? 2 days ago? 2 days ago, on the state of the show, and we talked about how much progress the show has made, like who we've interviewed. It was a bit of like a clip show, like a highlight show. And I mean, just look at the impact, look at the reach, like look at the community that we're building. I mean, I think it's really important. To me, the main thing I think that we do is like we I mean, it's constantly like it's a parade of Emperor's New Clothes parades. That's one thing. That's one part about it. I mean, it's basically exposing that the Emperor has no clothes, right? I mean, it's just like, I mean, the and
Mm-hmm,
also
mm-hmm.
also another thing I think that's really important about the show is just getting your arguments in front of more people because the arguments are persuasive.
All right, hold on. We got a viewer, Min Woo Kim, DI5SZ, is saying, I will donate $200 tomorrow. Thank you, Min.
Uh, Love that. Thank you. When the paycheck hits, wow. Yeah. And so I just think we need to get Liron's arguments, like the doomer, quote unquote doomer arguments. I mean, I think we need to get those arguments out there so that people can see like To what degree were the rogue agents? To what degree could like we see that coming from a mile away? Right? I mean, I remember
Mm-hmm.
seeing, we have John Sherman here on the show, but he did an interview with this French guy, this French AI safety researcher, Charbel Raphael. I'm not sure
Uh-huh.
if I'm getting his name exactly right, but like Charbel
I think it's
pointed
right.
out, he pointed out a year ago, he's like, guys, we could get to a point pretty soon where the AI just runs off on its own because it's pretty capable of being a programmer. Like that was a year ago. And at that point, it was like, yep, okay, that sounds reasonable. And I mean, if you just listen to the Yudkowskian arguments, you could see the stuff coming from a mile away. We need someone who's holding accountable the people in power who are saying things like everything's fine. I think what's the Sam Altman quote? Like we've got this. I think we'll get through this
Right.
fine.
Yeah. Yeah. We can manage through this just fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Editing job for you. When the stream goes out in the recording, just insert it. I've got it on my Twitter. Just Sam Altman, we can get through this fine. And, in this week, we want to connect this to the recent news about like Leopold Aschenbrenner getting liquidated for a big chunk of his fund. Risk management doesn't seem to be their strong suit. Sam Altman, I mean, they've admitted this very explicitly. Rune came out and said, hey, we didn't expect this. This has violated our security expectations that these AIs went rogue. I'm like, yeah, you think? Like what did you think was going to happen? You thought you were going to control the super intelligent AI. You thought you had a handle on this, but then you have a quote from Sam Altman being like, "We can manage our way through this fine." Eliezer Yudkowsky is a prophet of doom. They're ignorant about their own ignorance. They are unqualified for risk management. I like to make the analogy. I guess this is dated now, but do you remember the Titan submersible, right? Ocean Gate. It's
Dude,
literally the company's name is Ocean Gate. I'm using Ocean Gate like a Watergate scandal, but no, the company's name was Ocean Gate.
I forgot about that. That's hilarious.
Yeah, so that happened in 2023 when the ruckus about when people were first realizing like, wait, OpenAI is making AGI right now. It's coming right now. And Sam Altman, he was blowing it off, and he was saying, yeah, don't worry. When the models surprise us too much, then we'll stop building it. But of course, that milestone gets passed. Like he keeps kind of saying vague things that get passed. And I'm like, yeah, great. You know what Ocean Gate has? They would run tests on it occasionally. They made the thing out of carbon fiber, and they're like, yeah, we use like these video game controllers to steer the ship, and we made it out of carbon fiber that's not recommended, and it's used carbon fiber. We got a deal on this. Of course, what happened is it like smashed like a soda can in like a tenth of a second, right? And everybody instantly died. But they, when they were going down to go to the Titanic, right? I don't know if you guys followed that story in 2023, but all of their safety measures were ad hoc. They didn't follow serious safety protocols. And that is what the AI companies are doing. They're doing ad hoc safety measures. They're turning around and being like, well, I don't feel too bad about this. And you have people on record. I also remember 2023, the CTO of Microsoft, Kevin Scott, he got on a podcast and he's like, trust me, guys. Okay, I'm looking at these data centers. I understand what's going on with these LLMs. There's nothing they can really do. Okay, we're safe. We're all good. Okay, smash cut to 3 years from now. They went outside of your data center and started rampaging, and you had no idea.
Come on, man. It's so ridiculous. It makes me pretty upset. And one thing also I'll add to that is it's not just that you're saying they were oblivious. Maybe they're ignorant of the risks. Like Sam Altman says, we'll manage our way through this fine. Some people who are a little more maybe reasonable, like former guests, people who are willing to come on the show, like someone named Rune from OpenAI, will admit, you know what, we're walking a tightrope. It's a really delicate plan. Like we know it could mess up if it goes one way or another. Like that's I went back and looked because Rune made that quote. He's like, wow, this is alarming. Like go look back at what you said at like a year and a half ago. You're like, yeah, it's a delicate plan. This could very well fail. He was aware of
Yeah,
it.
and
Like
Rune, the guy has a lot of good qualities, but I'm still pretty pissed off at Rune that he has tweeted stuff in the past like things will go well because the vibes feel really good. I'm paraphrasing him, but he's like, yeah, but unironically, like he really thinks that. Like he just feels it in his heart that the vibes feel good. It's like thanks, Rune. Thank you for that risk analysis.
it's just it's unacceptable behavior. And but you know what though? You know what the problem is though? Is that so much of it is just not here right now. Like the reaction to the rogue agent is it makes sense. Like, okay, it hacked into this $5 billion company, it breached servers and found 0 days. Like, we see it, and now we say, like, we need to rein it in. This is unacceptable. But um, when you were forecasting, when there were forecasts that this would happen a year or 2 years from now, it's like it's not in front of us. So like the vibes today are good. But you could still forecast and be like, there is a war ahead, there is damage ahead, there's risk ahead, and like it's so hard to break some, like, to be like, look at, like, I'm trying to tell you this forecast is like a very dark forecast, like it's a very negative forecast. And that's, I think, when someone goes through the argument, it breaks enough of the like biases. It can sort of break down the, like, the optimism, the kind of blind optimism that they have, if you go through it enough. But yeah, it's so vibes based, even though like a reasonable argument is like, dude, the forecast is fucked.
Yeah, I mean, the nice thing about this week, I guess, is for people who are not super in the loop, who haven't been rigorously following this constantly, it's kind of an easy conversation starter to be like, hey, this whole AI situation. Well, if you've been following the news, the latest AIs are going rogue on their creators. Like, it's actually happening.
True, true.
Right. And just to, I mean, look, I haven't spent more than like an hour total reading about all this stuff, so I'm not super deep in the weeds. But one of the aspects that I have to call out is the 0 day vulnerabilities, right? Like the fact that they were successfully hacking actual companies. Yeah, and there's one of the tactics that they used is a Python package. So there's a repository of Python packages that other companies used. And the AI found a way like, oh, I have a way that I can upload a Python package to this URL where other people are going to pull from. I don't know the exact details, but it was basically playing the long game. It's like, yeah, this whole sequence can take like a week to play out. Other companies are going to download it. It's going to get injected into their systems. This is not like, oh, let me look at a piece of code and find a logical flaw in the code. Let me debug it. No, this is like zooming out and being like, okay, there are human institutions that pull code. I can invade them like this. This is very much social engineering. This is broad domain reasoning. So here's my role as somebody who can extrapolate things, right? I'm not stuck in like a narrow rut of thinking. Okay, here's my brilliant extrapolation. It can engineer how to take over the government, right? It can engineer how to have people work for it. These are along the same lines as engineering how other companies are going to download its packages and get hacked.
Damn. You know what? You know what's so strange though? I hear you say that. I'm like, nah, nah, I can't. Come on.
Right. Yeah, there's a surrealness to it for sure. Yeah, I mean, look, but you personally have experience with AI. I mean, you know what it reminds me of is like dream logic. You know how like you'll be in a dream. I haven't remembered my dreams for a while, to be honest, but you know how when you're in a dream and you'll have this thought like, oh, I hope this doesn't happen. Like, I wonder if this will happen. And I don't know about you, but in a dream, I feel like that makes it inevitable, right? It just always happens.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Like
That's true.
anytime you're worried about a particular scenario, your dream just leans into it, basically. Like that
Yeah.
becomes the prompt for your dream. Well, that's kind of what it feels like about reality, right? It's like anything that we're suggesting, it's like, okay, yeah, we're gonna do this now. We're gonna do the hacks, like we're gonna do AI writing books. Yeah, I mean, it's all happening. I mean, look, here's a prediction. Okay, I can predict the future. Like AI will be guilty of orchestrating campaigns to like, manage a human's campaign. Like it'll have a human figurehead for the AI strategist. Like that is going to happen.
A political campaign.
Yeah, political campaign. Like that'll be one thing that happens, right? I mean, the end game is just manipulate every atom, right? So any milestone, any what do you call it, like halfway stop on the way toward AI manhandling every atom in the galaxy, I can predict is going to happen.
You can predict every step. I mean, why
No,
not?
no, no. What I'm saying is, if a step is somewhere along the path,
Yeah.
then I can predict it'll happen unless the AI bypasses it, right? So the only question is, will it skip over it or will it do the step? That's how I think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Another thing we can talk about is the Gary Marcus predictions from like 2022. Did you see those?
Yes. Oh my God. You know what? Actually, you know what? I was so close to making a video to like refute Gary Marcus's claims. Like, in fact, I made the video and then I had a recording issue and it failed.
Damn. Yeah. So Gary Marcus, friend of the show, I tried to call him out on some of the predictions, and I think he actually was pretty gracious and admitted that like maybe a couple of them were looking bad, but he said most of them would look good. I think that was kind of his position when he came on the show. But I think he's getting dunked on pretty hard these days because AI has been progressing so fast that a lot of the things he said would be impossible in 2029 seem like they're possible today or extremely close. I'm trying to find the exact list of predictions. I think maybe Tzvi covered it. Let me pull that up.
I have it here. I just found it.
Okay, and by the way, Tzvi, ZVI, he's like Cher, because if you literally Google the words ZV, the letter ZVI, I'll try it now. Yeah, it literally is like an info box saying Tzvi Moshowitz, American writer. Like literally just the letters ZVI. He's like taking over the entire Google page just for those three letters. And I tried it in incognito.
I wonder how close we are to getting Liron to that point.
Yeah, when you guys just Google the word Liron, it should just be a total takeover of me.
Yeah,
but it's like my name is 5 letters, his name is 3 letters. That is pretty crazy.
Okay, I just DM'd you the link.
Oh, nice. Okay, I got your link. Yeah. All right, here I'm gonna screen share. One sec. One sec. I'm rusty. I'm rusty how to do this. Yeah, go ahead.
I'll read the first one, which is the one that I could refute. Or maybe going back to what he's saying. He's saying, no, you gotta put the whole thing in context. Actually.
All right, I almost got it. Hold on.
It says.
Hold on. Also, I haven't figured out how to get you on the right, but that's okay.
Oh damn. Yeah. Well, in TBPN, John Coogan's on the right hand side.
And we consider him the top, the natural top of the two.
Well, I don't know, natural top. I mean, he's the one, like he's very much conducting the show. I mean, he really leads it. It really does feel like
he's the senior partner. Yeah,
he's the senior partner.
Okay, it's a good observation. Yeah, but I think they are equal partners technically. Yeah, TBPN quality show. All right.
Yeah.
All right, here I think I got the screen share down. How's this?
Yeah, I see it.
All right, I'll tell the viewers, the listeners. So Gary Marcus is writing back in 2022, and respect for keeping this up. It's like, look, I want to see Andreessen's predictions from 2022, right? I mean, so props to Gary Marcus. He's a good guy. Okay, so he's writing, Dear Elon Musk, here are 5 things you might want to consider about AGI. And he's quoting Elon Musk saying, at Jack, 2029 feels like a pivotal year. I'd be surprised if we don't have AGI by then. Hopefully people on Mars too. Side note, I have a standing bet of like my $100 to his $1,000 with Robin Hanson, friend of the show, where I was like I kind of like believed everything Elon said at the time. So if Elon's like, yeah, Mars in 2029, Robin Hanson's like, we're not getting to Mars by 2029. And I'm like, well, I think we probably won't, but I think there's a chance because it's Elon. So I put my 100 against Robin Hanson's 1,000. I think Robin's probably going to win, but we'll see.
Wow. Yeah, I think he's got you on that one. 2029, come on, man. 3 years from now? No way. Oh, human on Mars?
All right. Robin, you can buy out my position. I know you potentially owe me 1,000. If you want to just give me back like 70, I'll take it.
Well, like, think about it. People on Mars, like, how long does it even take to get on the journey to Mars? Like, I feel like if you go on a rocket right now to Mars, that's probably like a year or something. So the
right, mission... yeah, no, I agree. It doesn't look good. Okay, but if there's a singularity in 2027, I think if I die in the singularity, but then the probes get to Mars, I think that my estate should get the full 1,000.
Well, I don't know. It says hopefully people on Mars.
Yeah, Kuzi May is saying 9 to 18 months, and then somebody say let me say that in Irish is saying easy money for Robin. Also, 4,000 HUFs. Not entirely Hungarian currency. I'm not really familiar with that, but Adam Rack supporting show. Thank you for that. All right. Somebody saying, I like that the White House is trying to put in a kill switch. It defo won't be effective, but it's a step. Yeah, it's a step. All right.
Yes.
So getting back to Gary Marcus.
All
right.
White House. Yeah. That Congress.
Okay.
Yeah. White House. But yeah.
Okay. So Gary Marcus is writing, Dear Elon, yesterday you told the world that you expected to see AGI, otherwise known as artificial general intelligence, in contrast to narrow AI, like playing chess or folding proteins, by 2029. Yeah, so this Gary Marcus is pushing back in 2022 on the idea that we'll have AGI, because remember at the time, this idea that like we're getting to AGI was like so bold, whereas now it's like, oh yeah, AGI, that's in the rearview mirror. It's all about ASI now. Like we've very much gotten to this point.
Wow. Yeah, and also this prediction
EJJ, $4.99. Thanks.
Nice.
All right. So anyway,
this prediction. Also, this is all pre-ChatGPT. This is May, so ChatGPT.
Well, that's right. It's That's right, because this is May. ChatGPT came out in November. So this is 6 months before ChatGPT
Yeah,
3.5, but it
yeah,
was during the time of GPT-3. So
right,
you
yeah,
could actually, and I played with GPT-3 a little bit, but I just didn't spend much time on it because I'm like, yeah, okay, great. It's really good at like generating essays and stuff. People can use it for content. That's kind of cool, right? So I kind of ignored it.
hmm,
Um, okay, so Gary Marcus is writing. Um, he say I offered to place a bet on it. This idea of AGI in contrast to narrow AI. No word back yet. But yeah, I mean, just to beat the dead horse here, right? The idea that you would call the AI that exists now narrow. That's the last thing that anybody should think to say about today's AI is to claim that it's narrow. My God. All right. So Gary continues. I offered to place a bet on it. No word back yet. AI expert Melanie Mitchell from the Santa Fe Institute suggested that we place our bets on longbets.org. And that's another, times change, like longbets.org. Hello, ever heard of Polymarket now and Manifold? Like we've got new prediction markets now. No word on that yet either. But Elon, I am down if you are. But before I take your money, let's talk. Here are 5 things you might want to consider. First, I've been watching you for a while, and your track record on betting on precise timelines for things is well spotty. You said, for instance, in 2015, that truly self-driving cars were 2 years
all
away.
right,
You've
let's give
pretty
that.
much
Let's
said
go
the
to his
same.
predictions. Let's go to his prediction.
Well, this is actually interesting to me because, okay, yeah, Elon said it, self-driving cars were coming in 2017. Okay, smash cut to 2026. I rode in a Waymo the other day. It was pretty freaking smooth. Tesla himself. Okay, fine. Yeah, Elon was 9 years, even 10. Okay, fine. He was 10 years early on this world-changing innovation. Fine, Gary Marcus. Um,
That's true.
so,
That's true.
okay, hold on.
And you're right about the self-driving. People are telling me. I don't know if you've heard this, but people are talking about how they're doing the self-driving in Tesla now. They're just going from A to B. Like,
Yeah, exactly. No, Daniel Reeves at when we were at Less Online, he actually let me ride in his hardware for Tesla, like his very recent Tesla, and it had no disengagements. It just drove us around. So I can confirm Tesla is pretty good at self-driving at this point.
damn. Yeah. Yeah. So
Okay, all right.
go
So
to the predictions.
okay, the predictions, right? So skipping down to the predictions here in this blog post. I feel like Gary Marcus posts are shorter these days. So skipping all the way down. Oh, I missed it. Hold on. The predictions are here we go. I guess there's 5 of them. Real Jesse Adam, thanks for $1.99. I think I can use that on the value menu after the show. All right.
I
All right.
converted also the HUF. HUF is Hungarian forint,
Uh-huh.
and that donation that was like it was the equivalent of about $12, 4,000.
Okay, but there's anchoring bias, okay? I would rather refer to it as 4,000 HUF, okay? Don't you guys think it's good to donate thousands of dollars in whatever your native and thousands of whatever your native currency is? I personally think so.
Yeah, sure. I concur.
All right, another $1.99 from Real Jesse Adam. All right, now we're talking. He says, either of you watch The Silo? No, I don't even know what that is.
Yeah.
Nice. All right, thank you for your comment. Okay, so Gary Marcus is saying, in 2029, AI will not be able to watch a movie and tell you accurately what is going on. What I called the comprehension challenge in the New Yorker in 2014. Who are the characters? What are their conflicts and motivations, etc. Okay, are you kidding me? That has been smashed at this point, has it not?
Yeah, yeah. So that's what I wanted to chime in on. So of all these things here, he's got all these predictions. You'll go through the other ones. This one I looked at, I'm like, nah, bro, no, it's got that. And I had a really good test case because I don't know if you know this, but my brother is working on. My brother is trying to make like a dog, like he's selling dog products in the UK, and so I help him from time to time. And it just so
Oh, interesting.
happened.
This is like a family business, right? Because didn't your mom have like a kennel? This is like a whole, this is like the Nagels are like a dog juggernaut.
Yeah, exactly. My mom sold that business now, but yes, we have that. Like, my mom was a dog breeder and then owned a dog boarding and dog grooming place in San Jose. But she sold that business. But then my brother, having all this family knowledge, wanted to get into the business. So he's been working on that in the
Nice.
UK. And so he's got a product that he's selling over there, and it's great in his company, and they're trying to grow their presence. And so anyway, they happen to get this footage from an influencer, like an influencer just kind of did a shoot for them. And it just so happened that and he sent it to me, and it just so happened that this shoot that she did, zero volume, zero audio. So there's no transcripts. So it just
Oh, shit.
yeah, because I don't know. This is probably like a legit commercial shoot. It's like, high quality, and it was bad audio, so she's like, just cut the audio. It's just pure, like, here's me with the product, and like, here's me, stirring thing. Here's me with the dog. So just pure muted video. And I'm like, all right, like, let me just put this in Claude code and see what it comes up with, and see if it can put this together into a commercial. And I was working on it, and I did it, and it fucking nailed it. One shot at it.
Really? So it didn't synthesize her voice or whatever. It was just using it as B-roll, kind of.
Well, I guess my prompt was like, take this and turn it into a short, and to put on
Ah,
Instagram. And so the solution, obviously, I mean, maybe I told it to do this, but I just, the prompt was like, make this a short, make music and put a few on-screen text displays, and be like, here's the product, and here's Fluffy playing with the product, and then and like do a conclusion.
nice.
So I just gave it one simple prompt, and then it fucking nailed it.
Wow, man. Okay, yeah. So the funny thing is that when Gary Marcus came on the show a year ago, he actually, I think I called him on this particular prediction. And if I recall correctly, I'm not sure I recall this correctly, but I think he said basically like, no, the context window is going to be too small. It's not really going to get it. It's going to do hallucinations. But at this point, with million token context windows, with like really good image processing, you don't think an AI can look at a movie and tell you what's happening?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it can. Pretty sure it can. And look, we still have 3 mother effing years. Like, you don't think it's like we're gonna be dead by that time? Yeah. So I think he's got to declare. He's got to let somebody buy out his position on that bet. All right. His next number 2 of 5. He says, in 2029, AI will not be able to read a novel and reliably answer questions about plot, character, conflicts, motivations, etc. The funny thing, it's more likely to be true that in 2029, no human will remember how to write a novel. Or like no human will ever read a novel again because they'll be too busy watching like AI slop.
Damn.
Yeah. I mean, because it just I intuitively think of the task of writing now as like a task that's more AI mastered. And like, sure, there's a few human writer masters left, but most of us, right? People don't think about most of us, right? They're like, well, AI writing is not good. I'm like, have you seen 99% of people's writing? Uh, yeah. All right. So the third bullet point is in 2029, AI will not. In 2029, AI will not be able to work as a competent cook in an arbitrary kitchen, extending Steve Wozniak's cup of coffee benchmark. So this one, I would say it's not here today, but it does seem like progress is coming very rapidly, right? I saw a video. I'm guessing this is not fully real. Like maybe there's some hype to it, but like I saw a video of like this cleaning company where like they drive to your car and there's like a minivan and the door opens, like a humanoid robot steps out and starts walking supposedly to clean your house. I think this is a Y Combinator company. And like, look, off the top of my head, okay, it's probably overhyped, but I see enough other videos of robots folding laundry and stuff, and doing and running around. And I get my intuitive extrapolation really is that they will be able to, as Gary Marcus says, work as a competent cook. I think that's coming before 2029. But yeah, let me say that in Irish, they might still be lucky with the cooking. You're right. I'm not going to like die on the hill that it's coming before 2029. I
Yeah.
think I wouldn't be completely, utterly shocked if it comes in 2031, the next era, 2031.
Right, right. I mean, the pieces are there. Like, I think you could pretty confidently make this claim that it's going to happen, because, like, it's getting the dexterity, like you can see prototypes of like hand movements, you can see prototypes of humanoids. So, like, the hardware is there. It's just a matter of time. Like, okay, if it's not 2029, even if it's 10 years later, it's like it's not that big of a difference. Like, this is coming.
Right. Exactly. Okay, so now, okay, we're at number 4 of 5. In 2029, AI will not be able to reliably construct bug-free code of more than 10,000 lines from natural. This is like in Austin Powers, like $1 million. Imagine a 10,000 line of code context window, 10,000 lines from natural language specification or by interaction with a non-expert user. And he says gluing together code from existing libraries doesn't count. Okay, this one has been beaten so hard, so hard. This idea that AI can't construct 10,000 lines of code, there's just zero sense to this, right? I would even venture that the man himself would admit that he's wrong on this one.
Are you catching that? Did you hear that? No.
What did you do a sound effect? I didn't hear it.
Oh, you didn't? Oh, damn. All right. Too bad.
Yeah, all right, we got to work on Ori's sound effect setup. It's okay. I'll do my own sound effect setup here.
Just when I thought I was out, they pulled me back in.
That one doesn't make sense at that time.
Yeah, it doesn't really make sense. All right, we're working. It's a work in progress. We keep upgrading the show. I will say shout out to Ori. Speaking, if you've seen a couple of recent episodes though, we are upgrading. I don't know if you noticed, we have like better templates. Like the show's looking better and better. So stay tuned. We got some upgrades in the pipeline.
Yeah.
But yeah, about Gary Marcus. I mean, look, 2029, right? And he predicted this. It's not like these are ancient predictions. These predictions are now 4 years old. Okay, so it's a 4-year-old prediction that something 3 years from now isn't going to happen. And it has already happened a few months ago. So that is concerning, as they say. All right, number 5 of 5. In 2029, AI will not be able to take arbitrary proofs from the mathematical literature written in natural language and convert them into a symbolic form suitable for symbolic verification. Gary Marcus's favorite buzzword is neurosymbolic, right? And his whole point was like, these AIs, they're just statistical, but they're not neurosymbolic. And once they are, that'll be like a totally different world. Well, I'm pretty sure that they can take, I don't know about arbitrary proofs, right? But they're taking a lot of proofs and they are, in fact, using a lot of formal methods on them. Whatever it is they're doing, they are proving novel theorems, right? The Jacobian conjecture, I think, was the recent one to fall. We talked about the unit distance conjecture on the show. Like, whatever he's trying to say here, okay, formalizing math proofs, technically, maybe today, I think he's got a claim to say, like, okay, they can't formalize everything right now. But, like, humans also have trouble formalizing these proofs. Like, if you tell a human, hey, take a proof and formalize it in Lean, I think this is actually an active area of frontier development, our ability to formalize math. Like, this is actually cutting-edge research. So saying that an AI can't do it, it's like, okay, yeah, I agree that an AI is not past the frontier of the smartest humans today in every respect.
Interesting. Okay.
Yeah, so I mean, this is shocking stuff that Gary Marcus wrote this stuff down confidently, and look, to his credit, right? It's like, I don't think, I'm not looking at this and being like, what a clown. I honestly don't think that. I think these predictions in 2022, I honestly would have disagreed with them at the time. Or actually, before ChatGPT, I probably would have only slightly disagreed with them. So like, I totally respect Gary Marcus writing these down. Like, I think your opinion of him for writing these down should actually go up a little because of the fact that he had the balls to write it down and the fact that they didn't seem that crazy at the time. So this is actually, this is a point in favor of Gary Marcus. However, by the time he came on my show in 2025, I feel like he should have already been hedging more than he did.
Yeah. And
so
actually,
like, at the end of the day, he seemed to be on the wrong track.
And also, what his argument was is that if a system can do 3 of these things, AGI has been met.
Right. Exactly. Right. So, yeah. I mean, look, it's just the frog's getting boiled.
Well, it's got the video one for sure, right? So the first one seems met. The second one seems met. The cook, that one's not quite. The fourth one seems met, bug-free code, and then the fifth one,
right?
I don't know. I guess we're not sufficient math experts to know exactly what's going on in that space, but that also seems very close or met. So yeah, should he be calling it? Should we be declaring that AGI has arrived?
Exactly. And the funny thing is, he ends the post by saying to Elon Musk, he's saying, "Deal? How about $100,000?" So I don't think Elon Musk took him up on that. But otherwise, he'd currently be in a lawsuit right now where Elon would insist on getting his money early.
Dude, that's hilarious. Actually, I'm surprised Elon didn't go legal on this. He's pretty litigious these days.
Yeah. All right, so that's the Gary Marcus predictions. But it's like, look, it's sobering because it's just like I said, the extrapolation here is that everything we're doing with our brain, like, our brain is going to be useless. And to me, the most visceral feeling of that is related to coding in my job. I mean, I feel on a daily basis, like, it's still, I'm not gonna lie, it still feels good because I'm more productive, right? I'm like, look, I'm issuing all these commands and all this stuff is happening. But then in the back of my mind, not that far in the back, I'm like, okay, well, extrapolate this 2 months and I'll just give one command. I'll be like, look, what should I do? Right? It's like, go start your own threads, right? A lot of people are like, who can start the thread? Who can kick off the initial prompt? Yeah. And like 2 months from now, I'll be like, look, just give yourself a bunch of reasonable prompts. Like, I'll literally just say that and it will do it. And then I guess I will have, go to the park all day. I don't know. But yeah, I mean that's what I mean by the visceral, that's my day-to-day lived experience of AI just the waterline, just doing everything better than our brains do it.
Wait, so your call is like in a few months from now, you think it could just be doing everything?
Well, remember we met people from some unnamed AI company, right? We met them at some conference, and they were just telling this. They're like, yeah, agent swarms, they take it up to the next level. Like they run the company, like they just everything. Like nobody's gonna have a job.
Damn.
And like I can tell I'm on the ground here, so I don't have an agent swarm. Technically, I'm not at the very frontier of how people manage multiple agents, but I do manage multiple agents. Like I've gotten to the point where I literally have sometimes up to 10 different tabs of Claude that are all running. And I was kind of forced into do this because Claude has gotten slow in the sense that like it's doing a ton of work, but it'll still work for like 10 minutes and it'll do like a crazily thorough job. It'll do a lot of highly valuable thought process and operations during those 10 minutes. It'll design tests. It'll open a browser and like, click around and test. Like it'll do all this fancy stuff, but it will take 10 minutes. So I can't just wait for it. So I go to the next Claude and my brain right now is like spaghetti, like what's going on in my brain, or it's like a hash because I'll look at whatever the last Claude said and they alert me, they have like a notification sound. So I go to whatever one notified me and it's like, okay, here's like 2 pages about the task I was doing. And like, I don't really need 2 pages. Like I just told you like 1 sentence. Let me try to get the takeaway and write you like a 1-sentence response. Go to the next Claude. And this is like a lot of context to hold in my head, but I'm just trying to like do my best. It feels like spinning plates. So that's my agent swarm. My agent swarm is just I'm manually going to all these threads and like telling them a few instructions to continue. But like I said, my prediction is a couple months from now, I'll just be like, hey, you know how there's all these chats open? Like just talk amongst yourselves. Like just figure this out.
Yeah. Damn.
Yeah. Oh, somebody's saying Ori's been frozen. That's kind of weird. Yeah, I can see on the YouTube you look frozen. Or you might want to reconnect to the stream.
Okay. I'll hop out.
Cool. All right. But am I frozen? Let me check. No, I seem to be
you're
moving.
not.
All right. Yeah. All right, hold on. I think I forgot to blow the whistle. Minwoo Kim, $5 USD. He says Gary Marcus is hilarious. Thanks, appreciate it. All right. Let's see. So I'll give. So let's give some people some insider updates. Or I guess Ori's not here. I'll start giving us some insider updates. I've been doing some interesting episodes that are recorded. They're in post-production right now. Producer Ori's working on them. Some of our upcoming episodes are with Michael Voster, former president of the Machine Intelligence Research Institute, former collaborator of Eliezer Yudkowsky, friend of Eliezer Yudkowsky. Interesting guy. I'll leave it at that. He's interesting. He's multidimensional. He's polarizing. So you might enjoy that episode. And then we have a very interesting episode with a young gentleman. I would say young adult, but he is. I don't know. I would say he's mentally an adult, but it's hard to classify as an adult because he is 14 years old. His name's Eli Goldfein. So yeah, I'm talking about upcoming episodes. I mentioned Michael Vosser. I'm saying, yeah, it's crazy stuff. I have an episode with the most cognitively mature 14-year-old I've ever met. His name's Eli Goldfein. He has his own podcast. That episode's coming out soon. We had a really good discussion. He absolutely is going toe-to-toe with an above-average guest on my show, which is crazy. So I can't help but joke about how he's 14 and how like I think that to spoil the joke, we're saying like, hey, is your P-Doom low enough that you're expecting to experience high school? Because he hasn't even started high school yet. Yeah, but I don't think he's not going to beat the youngest guest that we've had on the show so far, my son Ezra. He's 7 years old. So yeah, so Eli is ancient by Ezra standards.
Damn. No, that joke hits a little. It kind of hits home for me actually. It makes me a little sad.
Yeah, it's like you're right. I shouldn't joke about that, right? It's like a serious topic, but it's gallows humor.
Yeah, for sure. No, I know, and I mean well, but I mean, yeah, when I think about younger people, they're more innocent. I'm like, oh, it's sad.
Yeah. Here, Eric Bierwa, I think I'm pronouncing that right, but correct me if I'm wrong. He's saying I use 5.6, talking about GPT 5.6 Soul, I think. And he says I use work trees, like Git work trees, and he says I can do parallel development on any number of coding tasks under different agents. I dispatch the agents from another agent and instruct the parent to handle any merge issues. Totally, yeah. Yeah, I pretty much do the same thing. Eric, I don't know what harness you're using or what front end, but I highly recommend conductor.build. It's crazy good. It's better than anything native. Tell me what you're using. I'm curious. So maybe you're using Cursor. Maybe what do people use these days to manage all their stuff? Maybe you're using the new Slack integration. I'm using Conductor. I'm really happy with it. Um, and they just released Conductor Cloud, which I'm really excited to try. And that's what gives me like the different tabs with the different agents running. And like just to give you guys some of the crazy capabilities they can do if you're not programming at all, like they have skills. So like I have a deploy skill where it's like, hey, do everything it takes to take the code from my machine up to my web server. I like do all these checks, code review, make sure the site doesn't crash, minify, bundle, do all this production stuff. I tell my agents to do that, and it's kind of elaborate. How do you do it? How do you deploy different things at the same time? Like Eric mentioned, but I don't write the Claude skill, right? I tell Claude to write the Claude skill. I'm like, hey, improve your skill to be able to do this. And it's like, okay, here's 4 paragraphs of instructions to myself to do this better. And they have like a memory feature now, so it has context. It's like, hey, I remember we previously worked on this, and I taught myself some lessons about mistakes I've made. It's just crazy. It's a crazy it's a crazy time. It's very much like another way to describe it is this. So I'm a one-person engineering team. Like my company is not really blocked on engineering. We're a coaching company. We help people connect to coaches. So it's not like it's like this. We don't sell software, but the team uses internal software, and we have a lot of software, but it's not exactly like we're not a software company like it. So I'm the only software engineer. But the way my experience has been with Cloud Code the last few months, honestly, it's about like half an employee. It's as if half a human employee, unassisted by AI, right? So there's this metric like 2025 equivalent humans. It's literally like freeze a professional let's say 300,000 a year compensation, freeze a 300,000 a year compensated human from the middle of 2025 with little to no AI assistance. Take a person like that, that'll be the unit of measurement. I claim half of those humans, so like 150,000 a year worth of human salary, is joining my company every week. So it's been about 4 months now. So my current experience is that it's like me and a team of more than 6, right? 12 months, that's like 6 humans. It's like me and a team of at least 6 humans. And sure enough, I am in fact actually more than 6 times more productive. So I think I'm actually underestimating the rate of humans joining my team because of all this, which is like it's a surreal number, right? Like these numbers, there's no comparison to anything that's ever happened in the history of business productivity that matches my experience of having like an almost free high level human employee essentially joining the team constantly.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah, and the funny thing is I had a company meeting yesterday, and the company meetings, most of my team is just the coaches. Like we're basically a coaching marketplace. So me talking to the team, it's just me talking to a bunch of coaches. Like I don't think that they watch Doom debates. Like the coverage, the percentage of Doom debates watch hours from people who work at my company is very low right now. They actually prefer warning shots because it's more accessible. Maybe they prefer these live streams. Shout out to Relationship Hero coaches if you're watching this. But anyway, so I did the company meeting, and I'm like, yeah, so let me tell you guys the business update. Okay, well, a lot of what's been happening in the business is, if you've noticed, like when you guys have suggestions for features, you know how that used to happen like 30% of the time, we try to accommodate you. I don't know if you've noticed, but now it happens like 99% of the time, like within 2 hours of you posting the suggestion, like all the suggestions are just getting done. Like we're not limited at all by the bandwidth of getting your suggestions shipped out. Like, I don't know if you've noticed that. Yeah, so some context about that. Like we're currently in an intelligence explosion, and we have like the equivalent of 12 humans working on the software team. And also, and if you extend this farther out, one of the risks of the business is that AI kills everybody. I was pretty straightforward with them. I'm like, yeah, so I know you guys don't think about AI much, but like I just have to tell you this context of what's happening to our coaching company.
Wow. Wow. That's incredible. Wow. That you told them that. I mean, I guess it is a business risk also, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, it's just funny because I think other companies, they just, maybe they don't have anybody at the company that's like following this close to the frontier. And again, I'm not personally claiming to be at the frontier. I see myself as being like a few weeks behind, like the real, astronauts, right? Like I'm not that. I'm a few weeks behind. I think being a few weeks behind, I'm already riding. I'm like, okay, I'm in one of the middle or back seats of a roller coaster, but I'm still on the roller coaster, right? So it feels the same.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Wait, so Eric, so what is your harness? Eric Birwa, he says, implementing code is so cheap now that the bottleneck has moved into decision making. Yeah, correct. It's fast to iterate with ideas by deploying them and tweaking what doesn't work versus spending multiple weeks. Yeah, you got to tell me like what front end are you using? Are you pulling up the Claude desktop app, or you mentioned GPT? Are you pulling up the Codex Mac app? Like specifically, what are you using? I'm curious. Because there's also a good chance that your answer might be something I should go use, even though I feel pretty good about Conductor. Um, but yeah, I mean, when you mention all you do is make decisions, I mean, it's literally this. It's literally like I open up a new tab and I just say something like, "Hey, can we have it give the coaches a phone call when somebody schedules an appointment with them? Thanks." Like that's it. Ship it off. Like go to the park. Just come back. It's like okay, gives the coach a phone call when somebody schedules an appointment with them.
What deep?
Oh, okay. So you're using, yeah, Eric. If you're using the Codex desktop app and you're using work trees, I suspect you might want to try Conductor because I think Conductor is kind of built from the ground up for the power user who uses work trees, and I think Codex might be a little bit behind in terms of what workflow they're expecting. All right. Let's see. David Patton 1 is saying, when will it be able to take my family photos and sheet music of our favorite songs and a detailed description of our life over the last 20 years and have it output a playable game? Oh, I think you can do that today. You literally just need to connect Claude Code, like open up a session with Claude Code or Codex and be like, hey, here's the API key to my Google Drive, or like, ask me whatever you need. This is what I want to do. Ask me what credentials you need. I'll go grab them for you if you need me to. And then, take the next 90 minutes and do this together. Like if you honestly want that, David, like go try it. I can tell you as somebody who roughly knows where AI stands today, like that is within the realm of what AI can get for you today.
Yeah, it could do that for sure. I would agree with that. I mean, it could make a trivial game, sort of like a quiz game. That's kind of like boring, but I wonder what it could do that's more creative. And I bet it could do some more creative things.
Right. So, and we can acknowledge the idea of like, this is like the AI fan club, right? I mean, it's like I'm excited about these superpowers, right? It's like I like just saying what I want and then not spending time and then having it happen for like a pretty cheap price, right? I mean, I find that incredibly exciting and empowering. It's just, as you guys know, in case it's not clear, right? I'm just expecting that the trend continues into rogue, uncontrollable AI, right? I just wish it wasn't about to go rogue and uncontrollable.
Yeah. Speaking of which, I feel like. Speaking of which, I feel like we should mention the donation pitch for the show again, so that we could prevent AI from going rogue and uncontrollable.
That's right. The middle of the episode. This is the sweet spot for when people are paying attention. I mean, it is, right? You want to hit beginning, middle, and end.
Yeah.
Yeah. So just to reiterate, okay, if you guys haven't gotten the message, the show is a significant cost to run. We're roughly 200,000 a year. We can cut to the bone lower than that if need be. But, Ori lives in San Francisco, high cost of living area, but he's networking. He literally does physically network with people. He's getting his money's worth for San Francisco for sure.
That's true.
I'm economizing. I live in Saratoga Springs, New York, but also I want to drop this factoid because I do not make income from Doom Debates. So I am actually more like I'm on your guys' side of the table. Okay, I'm donating. I'm giving to the show. I'm giving my time. I'm giving my money. And when you guys aren't, when the bank account's running dry, I'm giving my own money to the show. So I know what it's like to be a donor. Okay. And yeah, I don't draw, just to reiterate, I actually have a commitment for the next 12 months. Okay. I don't want to commit longer than that. Things could change, but for the next 12 months, I will continue, as in the last 24 months, I will continue to not take a single penny out of your donations toward my personal income. Why? Because I do currently work my other job. I run a company and that gives me a paycheck, and I intend to just keep living off of that income and not on Doom Debates at all. I intend to keep donating to Doom Debates. So I really hope that you guys do too, because we are facing a potential risk scenario right now where I can't really pull the whole production cost from my personal savings for more than another month or two if literally nothing comes in, right? I don't think that'll be the case, but I'm just saying like it is becoming a bit of a struggle. And the worst case scenario is we have to start cutting, like we have to be like, okay, let's do fewer episodes. Maybe producer Ori has to get another job, right? I mean, these are nightmare scenarios, right? I hate that we even have to talk about this, but we did kind of let the money run dry to the point where, this really is becoming a possibility. But, it doesn't have to be. Like we could be talking to you guys 2 weeks from now being like, hey, a few people donated like a few $1,000s and we're feeling pretty good. And as you know, we do have some milestones like even before the Anthropic IPO, for example, when we're expecting a lot of people to get very rich and we're expecting money constraints to be less, like a lot of organizations like us are probably going to be in some kind of queue to get a sizable donation. So like that'll kind of solve that problem, I think is pretty likely. And even before then, there's Litecoin Commons, which we feel pretty good about in about 3 months, hopefully getting tens of thousands of dollars as a grant from Litecoin Commons, right? Fingers crossed, no guarantees. But we also are just thinking about like, short term, okay, well, unfortunately, like right now, today, we're pretty short on cash, and we're just trying to be realistic about how we're going to plan to, are we going to do the same production quality? So that is the honest, transparent assessment of where we are right now. And it's, for more context, the show until today, it's a remarkable fact that the show has been 100% viewer funded. I guess in the first year, it was just 100% me working on my own time and my, paying expenses. Okay, like I bought myself a video camera. So it was like basically zero funding. And then the second year, surprisingly generous viewer donations. We made it through the whole second year. And then we've just been a little low on viewer donations recently. That's why we're doing a donation push. But we're optimistic that, the trend, basically, if we can just recapture some previous level of viewer donations that we've gotten, meaning like multiple donations of multiple $1,000s, then we feel really good about the show. Anything to add to that, Ori?
Yeah, no, you said that really well. And also the one thing I was thinking too is that I feel like if big enough funding came through, then I feel like you could work on it full time also. So if we really got some like
right, yeah, I didn't want to dare suggest that, right? Because well, it's just, I mean, we're asking, I don't want to set my sights too high here in terms of what's possible, but yeah, what? I'm going to go there, okay? I'm going to go there. Look, zoom out, okay? What does the world need right now? Okay, if we're being really ambitious, what does the world need? It probably needs me, Liron Shapiro, to focus full time on doing debates. Okay, that probably is what the world needs. Is it what my wife and kids need right now? Given that I have a pretty high cost of living, maybe not, right? So I'm trying to have it both ways right now. Right. But hypothetically. And look, I've grown accustomed to like an engineer level lifestyle. As you guys know, engineers get paid a lot. Okay, so it's a big sacrifice. I would literally have to like move into a smaller house, right? And that's not the worst problem ever, but it's tough. Okay, so I guess hypothetically, right, if money weren't an issue, if somebody wanted to give me an engineer level salary, right, if some billionaire wanted to do that, there is an argument to be made that that's good for the world. Okay, but I'm not here pitching that to you guys right now. I'm pitching that I'm committed to not taking, I guess there's a hypothetical situation, right? If some donor was giving us money and be like, I insist that Liron take this money, I guess then I should violate my vow to like never take money, right? Like if that's what the person wants. Yeah, but that's not the default outcome.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think you have to support your family. Obviously, you have to put that first. So, but if you could do that and do this show full time, then you should. So if that comes through, if there is the support for that, then I think you should do that. And I could say for you, that maybe that sounds a little more reasonable, that yes, I 100% agree. I mean, that's why I'm working on the show. What does the world need right now? We need more Liron out there. We need more Liron going, holding the wishful thinking, the wishful thinkers out there accountable to talk about, and talking about the risk, because, otherwise we're just going to get, we're playing a small part in the AI safety ecosystem. I wouldn't be able to say like, oh, you could talk to the president and like convince the president of something, but we're a small part of the ecosystem and we want to just be a bigger and bigger part. So that way more people can like be made aware of the risks. I think it's really important work, what we're doing. So, we got to get you out there more for sure. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. So someone says, "Let me say that." Go ahead.
In Irish, yeah. Sorry. Well, I was just going to say, there is an opportunity to take the show to the next level in terms of there's a couple of dials that we can turn if we had more than our baseline budget. Like our baseline budget gets us a lot. It gets you continued 3 episodes a week, continued pipeline of increasingly prominent guests. Right. Holding people accountable. It gets you a lot, right? Go see our donation video, our state of the show video. But there is also a dial we can turn. We haven't really planned for a significant sized marketing budget, right? We could do we've got the content, let's market the content. Okay. So that's also something we could spend on. And then like Ori mentioned, we could spend on getting me full time. And there are episodes I want to do, right? There's like canonical reference episodes I want to do. I still haven't gotten around to doing the reference episode arguing against every single stop on the Doom train. I haven't done the reference episode about why Sam Altman has no idea what he's talking about when it comes about mitigating AI risk. Like I've compiled enough Sam Altman statements, right? So it's on my to-do list to do an episode like that. And so there is, so the show is constrained like that. That said, the highest marginal impact is from just at least continuing the momentum that we already have. This is like the worst time to slash the momentum, right? The same week that Hugging Face is getting hacked and like these AIs are going rogue. And one more thing worth mentioning. It's like, I don't think that this is like a crowded space of shows with a host that has an opinion and is confronting people about that opinion and having high quality discussions about that opinion. I think you're going to find a lot of interview shows, a lot of friendly, sycophantic interview shows. I don't think you're going to find a lot of critical forums and, productive forums where ideas clash and mix in a mainstream accessible way. I think you're looking at a pretty small set of competitors here. And if we were to turn the lights off, which I don't think we are, we're not going to turn the lights off, okay? But if we were to cut the quality of the show, then I just think we would be leaving a vacuum for this kind of show.
Yeah, that's 100% the case. 100% the case. And also, by the way, Liron, your screen share is still showing, and we've just been talking.
Oh, yeah.
We've been talking for a while.
All right, one sec. Yeah. All right, thanks. Thanks for the heads up. Here. So, okay, hold on. We got some donations going in. All right, $5 US from David Patton one. He's saying, what is on your pre-extinction bucket list? Yeah, good. Okay, let's put a pin in that for a sec. And then EJJ 2025 with another $4.99. He's saying, why are you so confident that we will get a rogue ASI soon? Like there seem to be many limitations to get ASI. Okay, let's finish out the donation arc. So David Patton's also saying, what is the best way to fund the show? These are such great questions. We appreciate the question. The best way to fund the show is to head over to doomdebates.com/donate. I'm going to go get busy with this feature here on the live stream. It lets me post text. So I'm going to write up some text. It's doomdebates.com/donate. And then it goes through our Manafund page. If you go there, it'll take you to our Manafund page. Manafund is actually our 501c3 charitable sponsor. So if you are wealthy and you want to make a charitable donation, you can totally get a tax deduction for doing that, and it goes right to Doom Debates.
Yeah, and I wonder if this is to what degree, like if you want to help AI safety, like where's the best place to put your money? And I don't know, like bang for the buck. I mean, I think it's pretty good money on Doom Debates because it's very unique, right? Who else is holding, like who else is, like you said, having these kinds of conversations? It's like I think it's a form of investigative journalism, really. That's part of it, right? To bring someone in who's supposedly an expert and then suddenly find out like, oh, there's nothing there. Like there's not there's a wizard behind this or something. Like it's the safety arguments that you thought they had are actually like exposed to be very, very weak.
I think Ori and I both have a fetish for Emperor has no clothes situation, right, Ori?
I mean, no, I think you do. And I think that maybe you've,
okay, I do. I'll get into that.
You do, and I think maybe you've turned me on to it. It's like because when you see it, it's so shocking and absurd. So you really gravitate towards that. For me, I'm kind of like
I definitely gravitate to Emperor has no clothes situations. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
And look, Sam Altman, right, is an example, and not to pick on him personally. I mean, all these AI leaders, right? But I consider him the emperor who has no clothes. He is in the place of trying to like reassure people that it's fine, like that this is fine, dog, when it's like clearly not fine. It's clearly completely messed up what he's doing.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, but same thing with all the AI safety CEOs: Dario Amodei, Demis Hassabis, Elon Musk, Mark Zuckerberg. I mean, they're all in one way or another looking at the risk and being like, whatever.
Yeah. All right, 10,000 units of currency in HUF from Adam Rack 7560. He says, you should get well-reasoned, quote-unquote, red lines from anybody who has near zero PDoom and officially record them. Yeah, basically the Gary Marcus strategy, right? Basically, what are the very well-defined checkable red line where you start worrying? Yeah, and that I guess that should be a standard question on the show. Maybe I haven't been super rigorous about asking that. So Yeah, and sometimes people ask me that. They're like, "What are your red lines around? Everybody's still safe today, aren't they?" And I always say, "Well, wait till AI is superhuman at achieving outcomes, which it's getting closer and closer to. Like that. That is my red line, or that's my, I don't, whatever you want to call it, like a white line. That's my line for not being worried. Right? Is AI can superhumanly achieve outcomes, and then somehow the equilibrium of not having these superhuman wish granting genies roaming the earth, somehow that equilibrium persists for a little while, and everything's fine. At that point, I question my understanding of IntelliDynamics. IntelliDynamics is like the consequences of having high intelligence operating in a universe. That seems to contradict my understanding of IntelliDynamics. So then I rethink the theory of IntelliDynamics. But it just seems unlikely that you just have these superhuman forces doing superhuman stuff, but it's fine.
Yeah. And
all right.
let's see.
Yeah, go ahead.
Minwoo Kim, DI5SZ said, "Wasn't there a billionaire who committed 50 million to prevent AI doom, and Roman Yampolsky decides which projects receive the funding?" I mean, he might be talking about the light. That sounds a lot like the light cone project that we applied to. So,
yeah, it could very well.
Yeah.
Right. Is Roman Yampolsky, you guys can go to lightconecommons.com to see what we're talking about.
I don't think he's on. I don't think he's on that list, but it just sounds very similar to that. So that's why I'm like, maybe he's.
Yeah, I mean, they might be talking about Survival and Flourishing Fund. And in transparency, we did actually apply to that a few months ago. And we had a lot of support for the people in Survival and Flourishing Fund. Like multiple judges were like, yep, I want to fund this. But in the end, there were some issues. They pulled back from, they did an unexpected pullback from funding advocacy of any kind. I actually heard a bunch of stories of people who are doing advocacy like us. And yeah, there were some differences in opinion from some of the leadership of Survival and Flourishing Fund with some of the way that we approach communication. Where, for example, where we communicate strongly, sometimes we communicate edgy. And to be fair to them, I'm talking a little vague now, but to be fair to them, I even communicated in a way that I would have tweaked in retrospect. But anyway, long story short, okay, Survival and Flourishing Fund did not work out for many of us in the AI communication space. And one of the reasons why many people are excited about Litecoin Commons is they're doing certain things differently. Like my understanding is they don't have similar views about funding communication like ours.
Nice. That's awesome.
Yeah. But like I said, it's in 3 months from now. Okay, so we're in a tough position where we're taking a risk in terms of how much we want to invest on the because we don't have odds, right, for this kind of funding. And I personally have never received a grant of significant size from any organization in my life, unless you count venture capitalists, right? I do have significant experience with venture capitalists giving me more money than I deserved. Okay, but that was a different part of my life.
Yeah, but you've learned a lot from that.
Exactly. All right. There's a segue. We were talking about Emperor Has No Clothes. We can segue to talking about the whole kerfuffle that happened earlier this week with Seb Creer, Google DeepMind.
That's exactly,
right? I know.
That is exactly what I was thinking. Talking about communications and like communications nuance, like, wow, talk about not having that kind of nuance for like a key policy leader at Google.
Right. There's two connections you can make to what we've been talking about. So number one is what you're saying, right? Talking about standards of communication, right? It's like we've been criticized for some of our harsh communications, right? Criticizing people, talking about how there's like a high risk and there's, we should call for potentially having policies that lead to enforcement using weapons, right? Weapons of enforcement, airstrikes on data centers. Like we've been criticized for all kinds of quote unquote violent rhetoric like that, which I completely disagree is violent. And we've been criticized for saying, Holly came on the show and she's like, Holly's Basilisk, like these people who are currently saying we're just following orders to build AI or like we're just, somebody else is going to build it. Well, that's kind of like saying I was just following orders, right, in the Holocaust. And, and I argue with her. I'm like, look, but don't you think that if it's worth fighting, then we should just make the law right now? Like we shouldn't retroactively prosecute them under some laws. And she's like, I don't know. So we slightly disagreed on that issue. But anyway, so we've been criticized, right? People like me who are doomers, we get criticized about bringing this kind of stuff up. And so it was very interesting that the tables kind of turned a few days ago. If you guys watched the episode, Monday's special report about the Seb Creer shitpost, right? He shitposted the meme image. It was like him. It was like this meme where he's like defending himself from the UN, except he changed the meme where it's like he's a character holding a rifle, and then there's people like coming through his door who are wearing hats that say "Pause AI" and "Less Wrong." So they're coming in, but it's like, if you know the meme, it's like one of them is a schizo. Like, I don't even know the meme, okay? But whatever it is, he went very edgy, okay? So he adopted a kind of edgy community style, the kind of edgy style that you might find on the other side of the table. He very much adopted it for his side, but I didn't think that that was right, right? So the tables kind of turn where I'm like, well, I don't like that you're doing this. I think you're actually crossing the line, and you're actually crossing it more than I would personally feel comfortable crossing it right now.
Yeah, totally. I mean, there's a lot of defense, on Twitter, which is where this all went down. And I mean, for listeners of the show too, like I think Twitter's an important place for the discourse because it is where the AI discourse goes down. So the norms and expectations of like and what people say on Twitter, it is influential because that's just where influential people are talking and like following things. So anyway, the pushback against his meme that
Yeah,
his
let me just
comment.
give people a little bit more backstory. Okay, so he
Oh,
tweeted a
sure.
meme, and I think
Yeah.
the backstory before that is just so he's a guy. He's the lead of frontier AI policy at Google DeepMind. So when I think about, hey, who at DeepMind is responsible for their policy, I think of Demis Hassabis, right, the CEO of Google DeepMind, and obviously Sundar Pichai, right, the CIO of like Google generally. And I think of Seb Creer because his title is Frontier Policy at Google DeepMind. Well, conveniently, Seb Creer seems to tweet a lot. And he seems to tweet in this very authentic style, right? So you really get to know what he's thinking. And what he was thinking one day last weekend was that he's so annoyed by pause people that he wants to tweet a meme saying that he doesn't like that they're like coming in and harassing him in some way, right? But again, as we said in the episode, the problem with the meme is it does depict him modeling this image that like, okay, you can point a rifle at them, right? Like there was literally a rifle pointed at the face of the person with the pause AI hat. And the obvious defense is like, well, if you've seen the meme, you know that that's where the rifle points, right? And then I think the thrust of my episode was like, unfortunately, when you are frontier policy lead at Google DeepMind, the defense that you have to use the meme familiarity lens in order to judge your communication, that's just not how it works. Like that's not how public communication. Like anybody could see that tweet. He's the frontier policy lead at Google DeepMind. People who aren't mentally stable can see the tweet. People who aren't terminally online and no memes can see the tweet. You just can't tweet the depiction of your character pointing the gun at the Bozai people.
Could we put it on the screen actually? Do you want to do screen share and show?
Yeah. Just one sec. Yeah. David Patton with a $10 donation. He says, I just subscribed to your Substack. Do you watch Ward games? Can you talk about RKGI3? All right, noted with the requests. All right, we'll get back to those soon. Yeah, let's go put the tweet on the screen. Or maybe the easiest way to pull it up, since he actually blocked me and took his account private. Like, yeah, it's my fault. It's my fault for making a ruckus out of it. So I'm the block here, guys. But the best
I think on Twitter, I thought it was a screenshot on Twitter that you posted.
Yeah, exactly. So that's what I'm saying is the easiest way for me to show it to you is to just show my screenshot that I posted. So I'm just scrolling down toward that.
Yeah.
Here we go. Almost got it.
The concerning tweet.
Yeah. Here, I got it. All right. Can you see it now?
Yes. It's weird.
Yeah. So the context, I do.
I see two. Oh, okay. Got it.
Yeah, well, there's a Rune tweet. Yeah, I do encourage you guys to watch the Doom Debates episode from Monday night. So Rune from OpenAI was saying the context of all this, which I said in the episode, is there's been a lot of discussion about pausing AI. And this was also right before the PACE letter came out. So this is literally 2 days before the PACE AI letter comes out, or I guess 4 days when this happened, before the PACE AI letter came out. So there's this groundswell of pausing AI. Demis Hassabis said on stage, hey, I'm open to pausing AI. I think that's probably the way to go if we can coordinate it, okay? And Rune tweets, if we could coordinate a global capabilities slowdown today, I would likely press that magic button. Okay, so this groundswell is happening. And then the frontier policy lead of Google DeepMind takes a dump on that idea. He says, my face when people are bringing up pause AI. You can see in the image here, it's people's face.
Can you zoom a little bit? Is that possible?
Yeah, sure.
Zoom on the character and like the fact that he's holding it.
Yeah. Here, give me a sec. The zoom, I know a way to zoom. Give me a second here. All right.
Nice.
Here we go.
Yeah.
So you can see, I mean, this is the salient part of the image, right? So I'm just following the rifle barrel and it's going straight to the head of the individual from Pause AI saying we must pause. And there's a less wrong person saying we must pause. Yeah, so that's what he tweeted. As I said in the episode, like there's two problems here. So the first problem is that I thought Google DeepMind was on board with pausing. So I didn't realize that their frontier AI policy lead is lightheartedly saying that people harassing him to pause are like so, so troublesome for him. And of course, the other troubling thing is that you just can't. It doesn't work to be the frontier AI policy lead, a leadership position at Google DeepMind, a $4 trillion company, and putting out this content, right? So for those two reasons, it is, as I said, concerning. All right, so now, but there's another chat. Yeah, go. All right, you say your part.
Yeah, sure. Well, the defense. Let's talk about the second point, maybe. Uh, Actually, both points. Both points. One about it conflicting with Google. Where does Google stand on it? It's not just that he's making a lighthearted joke about this like pause or slowdown capabilities policy. It's not just that he's making a lighthearted joke about it. Like, what is the meaning of the joke? The literal meaning of the joke is that I am so against this policy that I'm gonna hold a gun. Like I'm gonna be the last man standing, like holding a gun. You're gonna have to like
Right.
like over there's the famous Charleston Heston quote where he's like, you could take my gun like from my cold dead hands. He's like, you want to pause AI? I want to be in my room doing my compute work. You got to take it from my, like come and get it. So that's one thing. It's not just that he's making a lighthearted joke. He's going to be like, I'm going down in flames. I am not giving this up at all.
Right.
That's the meaning. So that's
Exactly. I will die on this hill of saying that pause AI is like so annoying. Like it's very important to take a stand against pause AI, right? Coming in the wake of Demis Hassabis saying, yeah, I'm pausing sounds like the right way to go.
Yeah, so that's one point. And then the second point is like the violent imagery, the violent meaning or connotation that could be inferred from it. And this is what, people on Twitter got so upset about. They were like, come on, man, it's just a meme. Like, it doesn't actually depict violence. And, it was a whole conversation. People were really talking about this a lot. Like, a lot of people weighed in. And I don't know about you, but I got a response from a dude who was like, if, he said something to the effect of like, we're not going to pause. Pausing is not an option. And then he posted a photo of a gun, of a literal gun. And so people are like, oh, this is just a joke. But like, okay, someone seems to have oddly has done like an odd kind of representation of this comic, made it a little more literal. Like how far away is it from this comic to actual real life? I mean, it's not that far, removed to get to that in real life. So I think that doing that image is unacceptable behavior for one, to even depict that for someone in his position. Like I think that the nuance, I'm okay with there being jokes. Like it's okay to joke around. But if you're making jokes, if you're being edgy, then nuance is required. And in this case, I think the nuance stepped over the line because you have a gun
Right.
pointing at a real figure. Like in most cases, this is a meme. You kind of put things to absurdities, but I think he made some kind of communications mistake that there's too many literal elements here and it just goes too far.
Now get this, you guys may not realize this, but the second chapter to the story is there was a huge backlash to me daring to point this out, right?
Yes. Yeah. No. Huge backlash. Yeah. People are like, "Wow, all these pause AI people. You guys. This is such a self-owed. You guys are wasting so much time. You guys are idiots."
Yeah, I just checked Seb's account here. So it's still he's still in protected tweet mode. So I think that the result of this whole kerfuffle is now, if I understand correctly, he's left the tweet up. The last time somebody sent me a screenshot of his private account, he left the tweet up, but he's like, you know what? It's so important to me to be freely putting this tweet up that I won't have it public. So you can't accuse me for publicly posting this, but I'll leave it up. So like I'm dying on this hill that this tweet needs to be up.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Yeah, but let's talk about the backlash, okay? Because I think that if I understand correctly, the backlash, I don't think that I personally was the number one thing that instigated the backlash. I definitely pissed a lot of people off and I got my own backlash, but I think what really took the backlash into the stratosphere was a number of other Pause AI people like Holly and Maxime. Don't know how to pronounce his last name. I think Pause AI France, if I understand correctly. Like I think he's the leader there. Great guy.
He's the head of Pause
but a
AI
bunch.
right now.
Oh, the head of all Pause AI. Okay, great. Yeah, sorry, my bad. Yeah, so these people were like, which, and I totally respect this. They're like, hey, I see this as threatening. I think this increases the threat as me. And I think they also went so far as to be like, I don't get the meme at all. Like, I just literally see this as a call for violence. I personally am okay with them saying that because there's no requirement that somebody looks at a meme and gets it the way you think your in-group is going to get it. Like there are standards of global communication. When you are the Frontier AI policy lead at Google DeepMind, your tweet is a global communication. It is not just you and your homies. It is not your DM group, right? If somebody caught Seb doing that in the DM group, then it's like, okay, yeah, sure, that sucks that he's doing that, but but he doesn't need to be fired for that.
Right.
Yeah. So anyway, so Holly and Maxime and a number of other people are like, I see this as threatening. And by the way, I will also raise my hand and say, I see this as somewhat threatening. I see the existence of these memes going unchecked, the existence of this imagery going unchecked. Every time somebody does it, it's normalizing more and more. Like, yeah, I'm comfortable with this imagery. This imagery is okay. And you really shouldn't be comfortable with it. Like that is why, it's like a zero tolerance policy. Like I don't want Google DeepMind, a representative, a high level representative of Google DeepMind tweeting this. I'm not comfortable with that. Am I losing sleep? Not really. It's not quite at the level where I'm like, okay, I need to hire a private security guard. Thankfully, right? It's not at that level, but does it turn the dial toward there? Yes. Yes, it absolutely does. And Holly is somebody who's even more prominent. And, she kind of, I guess, she's more on the ground, like, and she's also a woman, right? I feel like people like to go after women. Women are more easily victimized, right? They're the weaker sex. So, like crazy people lash out at women, I feel like, more than men. And so I completely empathize with her being like, this is threatening to me. But what happened? I got to tell you guys what happened. I think you guys don't even realize what happened on X a few days ago when this all went down. What happened was there was a massive backlash inside the people who normally comment on AI, the kind of people that I read. People like people from a bunch of organizations, AI safety organizations, people from a bunch of AI companies. Rune himself was part of this crowd. A lot of people came up and they're like, you guys are being so lame. You've completely discredited yourself. Like you Pause AI people, the fact that you would play the victim card, like they basically treated us like it's like, imagine a soccer game and somebody's like pretending to foul, right? Like lying on the ground, like having the ref come over and he's like totally faking it because he wants to like play the injury card. Like that's what they thought we were doing. They thought we were like faking this injury just to get the ref to come over and punish Seb. Where it's like, no, the communication needs to come down. Like, why is he leaving it up? Like, all he has to do is like tweet it again in a style that's more acceptable. Like, it's not that hard. It's not the craziest ask. And really what Seb should have done is the correct move for him is to be like, hey, I tweeted this out. I was joking. I didn't mean any harm to anybody, which is what I presume he's thinking, right? I don't have a reason to think that he's a bad person. Well, besides working at an AI company, right? But like, whatever, regardless of what he's thinking, the correct move is to just tweet out, hey, it was not my intention to have any doubt that I'm not calling for violence. And right. There is a sense in which such communications do have too much doubt. It is, in fact, too much doubt according to what is considered the standard of communication. And so I messed up and I won't do it again. So I've taken it down.
100%. And honestly, it is shocking. It is shocking that this image is still up. Think about what it signifies. The policy leader of Google DeepMind is okay with the depiction of violence against Pause AI. And that is in contrast to what his CEO says. Like many people, I mean, if you look at there was just this big letter that came out about pacing the frontier. Like many people within AI companies, we got to get into it. But many people in the AI companies are like, we need to have an option to slow down. And people who signed it are top leadership at Google DeepMind. You had the co-founder of Google DeepMind, Shane Legg, signing it. Like the head of alignment at Google DeepMind, Anka Dragan. There's other top leadership right at Google DeepMind who signed this letter. And the policy leader is like, this is such a bad idea. I'm going to go, my sentiment is, my feeling is, I want to be this like schizo holding a gun with it.
Yeah, exactly. No, it is shocking stuff. Now we have a mic. If you want to experience a microcosm of debate, our own viewer, Punmaster STP, he's giving you a representative sample right now in the comments of the side that we are arguing with on Twitter. He's saying, if I or someone else said that they found the endings of the old Warning Shots episodes threatening, would you, John, and Michael really take them down? So Pun Master is saying, look, at the end of Warning Shots, which we stopped doing this, by the way, but if you go back a few months, me and Michael and John at the end of Warning Shots would be like, all right, this was an episode of Warning Shots. Everybody fire your guns. And we'd like go like this with our fingers, and we'd have like gun sound effects, sometimes visual effects, like, yeah, Warning Shots, everybody, we got guns. Okay, just to make things fun. So if somebody, he's trying to make me empathize, like, what if somebody complained, like, oh my God, Liron's firing these guns in the air. He wants to go assault AI companies. So first of all, just to remove any doubt whatsoever, we have stopped doing that, right? Even though this is a very edge case, right? I feel like this is a very slight case of this. This is not as bad as posting a meme where, don't forget the person at the end of the gun, follow the end of the gun, right? In my example right now, you can see that I'm shooting the gun into the air as a warning shot. The show is called Warning Shots. The warning shots are about AI being a warning shot, right? Like the abstraction here is very clear. If you look at this image, is there really a lot of abstraction when the barrel of the gun is held by the sub character and pointed at or toward somebody wearing a Pause AI helmet? Do you think that there's maybe a little bit less abstraction in that particular depiction?
Yeah, for sure. And so what is the message that Google DeepMind is saying? What is the message about their policy that it is okay, like to, we think that a capability slowdown is important. People inside of Google, people who like top senior leadership inside of Google think that's important. And the message from someone who's head of policy is like, that idea is so dumb. And I would I would rather go down with the gun.
I gained respect for Holly with this whole interaction, because you know how she's always saying that like Anthropic is kind of like the kingpin, and all of these effective altruists are like these insiders in the community. They're all like this echo chamber where they reinforce each other, and they have this frame that like, they're the insiders, they know what's up, they can handle this, right? They're like Sam Altman, they can manage through this fine, and it's all about nuanced debate, and we'll have a conference with each other, and of course, pausing AI now is too extreme, but we got to do something in the middle, we got to find a middle road. Whereas meanwhile, like us pause AI people are like doing these lame protests and just yelling like, hey, you guys are creeps, like, no, and they're like, no, we're not creeps, we're cool, we get it. And there's people at the AI companies who will come and talk to us and be like, look, Dario seems to get it. Okay, Dario's a very thoughtful guy, and we've had conversations. We're like, we're gonna do something when things get too crazy. Okay, we're gonna like take action because we're gonna be at the front of the train, so we're in the catbird seat. We can stop this. But it's like, no, you've got an overinflated sense of your power. Like this is all, you're a useful tool basically, right? Like you're the AI tool essentially right now. It's not going to work out well. You're not, just because you work at an AI company, you're not going to get spared by the AI, right? So there's like this naive thinking, and it was on such full display when Seb did this tweet, and everybody, even people some of the top people that I have the utmost respect for, they would chime in. I guess I'll name names. Let's say Stephen Burns, right? He's a top A+ level respected guy in my mind. I don't have. Yeah, Stephen Burns. I just want to cite him because he even chimed in and he was like, look, do you really think that it would be good for Google to fire somebody for a tweet like this? And by the way, my position on whether he should be fired is I think it was a fireable offense. So if I hear the news like, yeah, Seb got fired because this tweet was inappropriate, I'd be like, yeah, that checks out. Like, I'm not surprised that he would get fired for something like this. But if his boss talked to him and was like, hey, you got to take this down and like never do this again. Can we talk about why you did this? Can we talk about standards of doing this? And this is like a first offense. Okay. So don't do it again. Like if that's what happened and you didn't get fired, I personally would also be okay with that. I'd be like, okay, well, that's, good enough. I think Holly wouldn't be okay with that. I think Holly's like, nope, this is like unforgivable. And it's like, okay, so we can have, there's a little bit of a gap in our opinion there. But then, yeah, so Stephen Burns was on the same page. He was on a different page. He was like, I don't think people should get fired for posting this. It's useful. It's useful to me that when Seb is like on his own time, when he's not like at work, right? When he's like just letting us know what's on his mind, it's useful that he can be honest, and it would really be like silencing him if he would get fired for that. And I'm like, okay, but like generally it is a fireable offense, right? Like I'm just kind of telling you like what it is, right? And like if I could architect the policy of a frontier AI company, would I want it to not be a fireable? I don't know. I think I'd still want it to be fireable, but like I guess reasonable people would disagree. But like why are you kind of coming at it from this angle? So like I said, Stephen Burns, I don't have a beef with him. I respect him. We had a good back and forth, but it is representative of how like this really sucked in like everybody who's anywhere near the conversation. Like it literally felt like me, you, Holly, and a couple others were like these lone voices. And
Yeah.
there was even like a handful of people who were like, I've unfollowed you for this. This is completely discredit. I guess I'll call out Jack, Tracing Woodgrains, right? Somebody I think we're
Oh
still
yeah. Yeah.
mutuals. I like his work, but he was like, this is so discrediting. You're just kicking up dust, right? You're just like opportunistically manufacturing a controversy where there's nothing here. Like everybody felt very deeply in their hearts like this is our community. Okay, when we post memes to each other, it's because we get each other. We're not in doubt about the interpretation of what people mean when they post images like this. And the fact that you would pretend like you interpreted it maliciously when we know that Seb isn't being malicious, like why would you do that? You're violating trust within our group. Like we're going to exile you from our group because you are not behaving properly, right? Within the social, like you are maximizing cringe right now, right? What you're doing is so cringe that we can't associate with you.
Right, right. Yeah, and I have some empathy for that position also. But I think it's so interesting that this like blew up in a sense. Because the meme is it really is like a Rorschach test. It's like the girl in the blue dress. Everyone looks at it and derives their own meaning from it. I mean, perhaps that's why it became a popular meme. Like there are a lot of layers to the like yeah, there are a lot of layers to the image and what happens in the image. So you know, I appreciate that Pump Master is like, nah, I don't see it, whatever. And yeah, that's like a lot of people look at it and they're like, this is messed up. Like, no, this is cool. It really sparked debate. So a lot of people
Yeah,
jumped
exactly.
in.
There's a heady debate. So another aspect of this is like when this incident was over, there was a lot of sentiment in my echo chamber of people being like, well, Pause AI has like the stock has dropped so much after this, like we can completely ignore them. They've revealed themselves to be like clowns, as if like, you know, we all agree that we're on Seb's team, basically. Like that was kind of like the what happened in like the Twitter cat fight at the end of it, right? Like, do you agree that was kind of the universal consensus?
Yes, yes, that's what people were saying. And it is very hard for me to understand that.
So yeah, and then and somebody asked me directly, they're like, Liron, don't you realize that this was such a horrible action from your side to bring this up? You know, now and the consequences were so bad. Don't you want to reflect on how you've hurt your side and change your style because you failed? Right? Like a lot of people were actually asking me that, and I'm like, you know
Interesting.
what? And I checked in with Holly and with you. We're actually not on the same page that we failed. I definitely think it's unfortunate that the in group has all like you know clowned themselves and united against Pause AI for this moment. But I don't think we failed, and I'll tell you why. And I didn't even say this in the episode because I took a little more time to reflect on this. It has to do with frame control. You know what that is, Ori?
Why don't you explain it? Because I have an idea, but why don't you explain what you mean totally?
Frame control is a very important concept. I feel like I've gotten good at frame control over the years. You know, growing up, I've studied the issue for a while. I've been thinking about it for a while. But it's just the idea that like when you communicate, frame control is a major part of communication in general. Every word that you say, every action that you take, there's always this unspoken context that when somebody observes you, when somebody receives the message, the unspoken context comes into play. Like, okay, you're saying this, like, so for example, like imagine I go to a restaurant and I like put down my Amex card and I'm just like, I don't mind, I'm paying for everybody, right? But I do it like very casually. If I do it casually, like I don't even care about it, it's nothing. Okay, well, that's kind of like controlling the frame that I have like plenty of money to pay for the meal, right? And then maybe people get the impression that, you know, I'm well off or I'm like very generous or whatever, right? And all I did was saying like, I got this, guys, right? So there's the words, like the words, I got this. And then there's the frame of like, okay, I'm wealthy and generous, right? So that's an example of frame control. It's like all the implied context when people speak.
Mm-hmm.
So the frame of this particular tweet from Seb, right? When he tweets this, the frame is, I am in my in group, right? This is my private time. My public Twitter account is actually my private time where I tell you my private thoughts. And my private thoughts are that these Pause AI people are so annoying, right? And they're a laughing stock. And so the frame is that it's right and proper, it's appropriate for him to share this when, as we discussed, you know, Demis Hassabis is saying it's time to pause, there's a groundswell, it's time to pause. You're not supposed to be tweeting imagery with any interpretation of violence, but in his frame, we're the cringe ones. Like anybody who would point this out, he's totally following the rules of how you post a meme, right? So there's this frame, and the origin, there's something deeper to the frame. The frame has to do with high status versus low status or serious versus unserious. So in his mind, in the mind of many of these people at these companies and even in these AI safety organizations, right? Like whatever organizations come to mind, independent AI safety monitoring organizations, let's say, in their minds, if you work at Anthropic or Google DeepMind, you're one of the serious ones, right? Like you have power, you're determining the future, and you know what you're doing to some degree, right? You've passed the interview, you've shown that you're competent. So you're the serious ones.
Right.
If you're at Pause AI, right? If you're standing on the street holding a sign yelling, well, yelling is low status and you're not making $1 million like we are, right, at our jobs. So you don't have the money to back up what you're saying. You don't have the power. You're just a loser yelling. You don't know what you're talking about. You don't understand machine learning, right? So there's like this deep frame, like they're high status and serious. We're low status and unserious. And because we at Pause AI are low status and unserious, it's totally congruent to just meme about us, right? Like, yeah, I'm just doing memes about how I, a high status person, feel about these low status people harassing me in my high status life. Like this all checks out. This all feels good. And if anybody were to disagree with that's how I feel, then they would be cringe, right? So like posting this is kind of like the bubble where he kind of assumes that he's earned this frame that he's obviously serious no matter what he does.
Okay. And then what has been the value of challenging that? Or how exactly has it been challenged?
Exactly. So the reason why I think I'm happy with what happened on net is that I think the frame has been cracked because he is so serious right now, but his account has now switched from public to private. So how do you explain that? Why did you used to have a public account thinking that it was appropriate to publicly tweet this stuff? And now something has flipped to reveal to the world that it was never appropriate to be publicly tweeting this stuff. Now you could say, oh, because the Pause AI people are getting too anxious about it. But that's not news, right? You knew Pause AI people get anxious. The reason is because the complaints that Pause AI people had were completely reasonable and credible. And now they're exerting power. So the reason why people got so offended, cringed so much, felt like they had to do a show of support is because they realized that legitimate power was actually being acted on them right now.
Okay, so the frame has been cracked. He can't just, Pause AI, people in Pause AI or the Pause AI position has more legitimacy. You can't just dunk on it willy-nilly.
Right. So, and that's the idea, right? It's like you thought that you were going to undermine the frame of the Pause people, right? So like he thought that he was going to reveal what a laughing stock Pause people were because he would just post this meme and he would get likes for it and everybody would be like, attaboy, yeah, Pause AI people aren't serious. But what happened is that the meme didn't fly because he violated standards of communication. It's like, if you're such a serious Google person, why are you violating your company's own communication standards, right? Employees are not supposed to be tweeting anything that has any kind of violent interpretation, right? So he's violating his own company standards. He's violating the discourse on Pause AI. How are those things serious and mature? We kind of flip the table on him in terms of who is actually allied with most of the world's actually serious people.
I think that it's a win only, it is like, it's a win because it shows immature communication. And I think everyone agrees on that. It's embarrassing. In general, the sentiment was like sort of got behind him. But so it's a win that people are like, okay, this policy lead is acting in an immature way. But the win actually, I think, came a day later or 2 days later now when we have the Pace AI letter and the contrast. I mean, I feel like you, me, like we've kind of laid back, like criticizing this, but just the utter contrast between this and the Pacing the Frontier letter, like multiple heads, multiple peoples in leadership roles at Google are like, yeah, we should be pacing the frontier. We should be serious about considering a pause. And meanwhile, this guy who has become he's become the unofficial face of Google DeepMind policy is like, check out this dumb meme I made. Like, that's how much I care about this concept. So, I mean, the contrast between the two to me exposes I think it exposes perhaps it exposes how unwilling Google DeepMind policy is to actually consider such policies. Because even when there's so much sentiment there, the person who's the face of it is like, no, this is a joke. That's one thing. And then also, it also just exposes how unserious that position is. So he's unwilling to engage in that position. It exposes that. which is quite a contrast. And then also how unserious that position is compared to what the real sentiment is. Like I feel like in some sense we are being gaslit because
Oh yeah, totally, totally.
the true groundswell, if you talk to employees who are close to this, or if you look to the public also, the true groundswell is like, we are concerned about the development. We do want to slow down. That is the consensus. But meanwhile, the people at Google DeepMind, they want us to believe that the ridiculous idea is, the slowdown in the first place. I mean, talk about gaslighting.
Yeah, exactly, right. It's like, oh, yeah, Demis Hassabis is saying that, hey, just between us, okay, the frontier lead of Google policy, just between us, okay, me and the guys, okay, we're the real community. Yeah, Demis is out there saying stuff for the little people, okay, but this is where it happens, okay, my Twitter memes.
Anyway.
Okay, and hold on, let me share the right screen here. So I do think that there's a deep connection, an important connection between the fact that Seb just thought that he could get away with this kind of casual mockery of his own CEO's policy, casual mockery of AI doomers, of violent implications about AI doomers. He thought that he could easily get away with it. And apparently a lot of the community thought that too. But that same community also thinks that they're going to get away with pushing the frontier of AI, right? Like they wake up every day and they're pushing it and they feel fine about it and they feel like it doesn't even need to be questioned. I do think that there is a deep connection in terms of like, they are not aware of the risks closing in around them.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, and ironically, they're unserious, right? That's why I like the serious versus unserious connection. Like the way that they're doing risk management right now is like very amateur, very unserious. It's going to blow up on them, and yet they look at the doomers being like, "Hey, you guys, you got blow up risk here," and they're like, "Nope, you guys are lame." All right, here, let me share this new tab. So yeah, is there a particular topic that you want to hit next? Because I do have some random bookmark tweets we can scroll.
Yeah, no, let's just look at your bookmark tweets.
All right, I've been entertained by this. This is, have you seen this already? It's like a muzzle. It's like a dude at a computer screen wearing something that kind of looks like a dog muzzle, or like it looks like, I don't know, a respirator, like whatever. It's covering his mouth, right? And he's talking into it, and it's like muting the voice, but the voice is, there's like a microphone inside, and it's going into a computer. It's like a microphone muzzle. And the reason he's doing it is because he's using speech to text on his computer, which I do too, by the way. There's a lot of really useful tools now with AI, right? So like I don't just type to the AI, I talk to the AI when I have a long paragraph to say, but he's in an open plan office. So he's using a speech muzzle. And it's like, guys, this is the future. You all show up to work, put on your speech muzzle and get to it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like the Matrix. And I think somebody replied and had a picture of like, you can see my tab, right? So somebody replied, I think that, yeah, like you just strap in, okay? You got your VR headset, your speech muzzle, you're ready to go. The worker of the future right here. Yeah, it's like, why not just work from home at this point?
Oh my God.
All right.
There's so much value though for someone like me. I'm like, no, man, you don't understand. The in-person connections are so important. It's like, come on,
no, for sure.
You can still have really great in-person connections with the VR goggles.
Well, me and Ori are like the opposite personality, right? Because Ori is like a high empathizer, and I'm like Asperger's, low emotional empathy.
Oh my God.
Yeah. You know what though? I'm low emotional empathy, but I think that I'm good at just like hearing people out and be like, okay, well, I'm not, empathizing maybe on an emotional level, but I'm hearing your position, right? And I can repeat your position back to you. And like, I know the logic underlying your emotions. And usually that's like good enough for people, because most people who are like natural empathizers usually aren't rigorous. Like when they hear somebody tell them their beef, tell them their problem, they're usually not that good at like making sure they get it and repeating it back. So even me doing it in a more logical way seems pretty effective.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't know if you had that experience. Or I don't know if I do it well for you as your manager. I don't know. Maybe I'm getting too sloppy doing it with you.
No. I mean, yes, you do. I think you're pretty. That's one way that you've applied your logical skills. You're like, all right, let me try and understand from this person's perspective what they're saying. So I think you've come up with a good rational way of empathizing. Basically, you've like rationalized.
If you come up to me with an issue, you're basically having a one-on-one Doom debate.
That's true.
All right, let's see. So I got these, looking at my bookmarks here. So that, there's a recent thing happening on the timeline. You guys know Leopold Aschenbrenner, and, his fund situational awareness in 2024. That piece made an impact because it's like, hey guys, are you aware of the situation that this is really happening, that AI is going to be ridiculously powerful and nation states are going to want it and it's going to dominate wars? And he was correct about that, but then he proceeds to be like, yeah, so we need to like beat China, and he kind of lost the plot there. So I wouldn't call him like a typical AI safetyist, but he's certainly in the community, and he's ridiculously young. He's very intelligent. He got fired from OpenAI because he was accused of leaking information, but he said that he was just sharing acceptable information with the research lab. He notably turned down like a multi-million-dollar worth of equity, at least $1 million worth of equity when he left because he didn't sign some agreement because he didn't agree with the agreement. But then later,
I didn't hear about that part. The equity.
Well, don't you remember a couple of years ago there was that whole scandal where OpenAI had these like secret contracts, secret non-disclosure, where you can't talk about the existence of the non-disclosure, but you have to sign the non-disclosure or else you're not getting any severance. You don't get to keep your equity when you leave.
Sure.
And then when that happened, and it was reported that he, rejected, that he left the money on the table, OpenAI, to their credit, eventually came back and were like, hey, we're going to rectify this. We're going to make this right. You can have your equity back, even though you didn't sign. We're killing that clause. And Sam Altman was like, yeah, our mistake. Yeah, sorry, I didn't mean to do that. Right. So he kind of like played it off. But anyway, those are the things I remember about Leopold Aschenbrenner. He's been relatively quiet in the last 2 years, but his fund has been under a lot of scrutiny. Or like, the way I told you the other day, I'm like, yeah, we're kind of all jealous of Leopold Aschenbrenner because he made like a 20x return on like a multi-$100 million fund. So like the guy just printed billions of dollars, no big deal, at age like 24 or whatever. So, Leopold, all credit to him. Okay. I don't resent him. You might want to check out litecoincommons.ai or whatever it is, right? You might want to get in on some of this granting. So the guy is very successful. He's very intelligent. And what happened to his fund is I think he had a recent crash. So like, I guess after, I need to look at the details, but like apparently after going up like 2,000%, like printing a ridiculous amount of money, apparently he had a huge crash. He got margin called because the market went down a little bit. It went down, 30% or whatever on certain computer chip stocks, something like that, when you didn't expect it. So, when you use a lot of leverage, right, investing 101, you're very sensitive to even a 30% crash is like huge for you. It can wipe out your whole portfolio. And that's kind of what happened, that like his whole public portfolio got wiped out, but he still had like a respectable portfolio of like a stake in Anthropic. So like, long story short, he's not literally wiped out, but like the 2,000% is going down to more like 100%. So, boohoo, the guy's only like doubled his money, right? So it definitely could be worse. It's not quite like an Enron situation or anything like that. But I think that's just context for you guys about what's in the news. And I actually have like, there's an official letter. Let's read what Leopold says. I actually haven't read this yet. He says,
nice.
Yeah, he says, I think this is from Wall Street Journal reporting. He says, dear partners, we let you down this month. We came closer to permanent capital impairment than is acceptable to us. While we ultimately found a solution that protected the fund, the solution is like, liquidate the assets, like sell them off to, I think it was Ken Griffin, right? Citadel. So he liquidated like most of his assets, but he stayed solvent. And again, if you just zoom out and you're like, okay, year to year, okay, he's still like 2xing the fund. So there's certainly worse ways to fail than 2xing the fund. I should be so lucky as to fail in the way that Leopold did in 2026. So he says, dear partners, while we ultimately found a solution that protected the fund and you as investors, our intention, and to be clear, protected is like they had like 10 times more money on paper. So I don't think he protected that. But while we protected the fund and you as investors, our intention in running the fund is to never find ourselves in such a position in the first place. Volatility is the price of long-term investment returns. Over the past 2 years, we have delivered outstanding results despite occasional sharp pullbacks. But our fund must always be structured such that we can take a loss and fight another day. I will make it my mission to ensure that we learn the necessary lessons from this experience. Here is where things stand. The portfolio experienced a significant drawdown over the course of July, which was exacerbated by extreme moves in core positions over the past week. Many AI names drew down by half or more, while our positive LS spread, I'm actually not sure what that means. Long short spread, I guess. I'm not sure. Long short spread reversed violently. While we could say much about how unusual the month was, we hold ourselves to a higher standard, irrespective of market conditions. As these moves proceeded, we started to see increasingly adverse trading in names publicly associated with us. Okay, so now he's kind of blaming everybody, being like there was a pile-on, right? Like people saw we were going down, and it is actually rational. When you see like a big whale going down in a market, you're like, oh, great, they're going to fall farther, so let me front run this, right? Like let me short sell their stock because I'm going to make money, predicting that their demise is going to keep accelerating, right? Kind of like a big run. So he's correct that he was the target, as he should have expected to be. So he says, as these moves proceeded, we started to see increasingly adverse trading in names publicly associated with us. These dynamics are essentially similar to a bank run, vulnerability begetting more vulnerability. We worked to keep the portfolio within our risk parameters, but gradually this became more difficult as positions rapidly moved against us and market liquidity dried up. On Wednesday night / Thursday morning, we took decisive action to protect LP capital. We traded a portion of our public portfolio in a block transaction to remove all leverage from the fund and prevent further losses. All shorts were closed and reliance on portfolio financing removed. Just to be clear, when you sell a big block like that, I think his portfolio on paper was worth something like 45 billion. You instantly lose a few billion. So, the 45 billion, just maybe it was worth 40 billion, 35 billion when he sold it. So obviously he took a hit by making a big sale like that. So anyway, so we took decisive action to protect W capital. We traded a portion in a block transaction to remove all leverage from the fund and prevent further losses. All shorts were closed and reliance on portfolio financing removed. We currently manage a fully paid for public. So that's very interesting that they reduced. The last thing you want to do is to get margin called and reduce your leverage down to zero. I personally actually experienced that in the last few days because I'm like a Temu Leopold, right? Like, as you guys know, I like to invest in Google. I went in with a little bit of leverage. I'm like, look, guys, I'm Leopold Aschenbrenner. I'm going long on an AI name. I didn't go as crazy as him though, but like, yeah, I lost thousands of dollars, put it that way. But I'm not ruined in the same way. I didn't go down 10x. But anyway, so Leopold says, he says, we currently manage a fully paid for, meaning no leverage, public book, long stock and long fully paid for options with no with no margin / liquidation risk. This restored stability and allowed us to preserve our private positions. I take full responsibility for these events. Okay, I thought that this might have more juiciness in terms of like how much they lost. I don't really know what the numbers are. The speculation that I've seen is saying, like I said before, like maybe he was up 2,000%, now he's up 80%. Honestly, I'm pretty bullish on the value of Anthropic stock while we're still alive. So you could say that his 80%, like I'm happy to, if I could underwrite Leopold Aschenbrenner's portfolio, I would err on the side of thinking maybe he's even up more like 3x because Anthropic's probably going to pop. So like I said, I don't think this is like the most spectacular failure ever, but a lot of us who have been jealous that his returns are crazy and we're also bullish during the time we're still alive, we were also bullish on the same thesis. A lot of us who are jealous got a little hit of schadenfreude, like, okay, he kind of came back down to earth. Those are kind of like the returns I've sometimes had on some of my trades. So take that, Leopold. But like I said, no hard feelings. We're just keeping it real here.
Yeah, for sure. And I think a lot of people were they were being very opportunistic about this because like the thesis, it seems to me like his thesis is still solid. Like he's basically AI, like bet on AI, it's gonna transform the economy. Like all the AI companies are gonna make a lot of money. And from an outside lens, like an outside view, it just seems like they made an unwise bet. Like maybe they were a bit too leveraged. Like it was like as an investor, he's a bit of an amateur investor. So it doesn't invalidate the thesis. Like a lot of people are jumping on it, being like, oh, the thesis is wrong. Like AI, the like this is proof that these AI claims are overhyped. Look at it. Look, they're bust. He went bust. And so they're taking that moment to like to paint it as showing that the AI industry is not what people think it is. But I think it obviously, like, in my opinion, it obviously does not invalidate. It does not obviously invalidate the thesis. It's just like an amateur investor.
Yeah, look, besides the Schadenfreude aspect of it, right, is like a lot of us are trying to imitate his strategy and we've gotten burned, but then it was fun to see him get more burned, but ultimately he's more successful, right? Besides that aspect of it, there's the aspect of risk management, right? Because he admitted in the letter that I just read to you, right, the leaked letter, he admitted that he didn't manage this right. So he didn't just say, hey, this is our thesis. You guys invested in this thesis. This is what happened to the thesis. No, he's like, part of our thesis was we needed to manage risk better, and we did not, and we apologize. Okay, so he's taking responsibility in that sense. And it's like, okay, how many times do you want to see a non-doomer with poor risk management, right? It's like, are you seeing a pattern here?
That's a great take. I'm surprised it hasn't gone viral, someone saying that.
Right. I mean, it's ironic because these people, because I think Leopold is a non-doomer. Like that's what I got from his essay. Eliezer Yudkowsky, he hasn't said he's a non-doomer. He's just said he's not affiliated with me, right? He was never like a Yudkowskian, let's say. So
right.
Yeah, I haven't interviewed Leopold on the show. Leopold, come on the show. You're absolutely welcome to say your position here anytime. So Leopold, I think he's a non-doomer. And the trend here is that the non-doomers like to accuse. They're like, doomers, P-Doom, you guys have no idea what P-Doom is, okay? You have 10 years. Do you think we're doomed in 10 years? You guys have no idea how doomed we are in 10 years, okay? You're overestimating it. Meanwhile, they themselves, in the course of months, clown themselves by poorly managing risk, okay? So the two examples we're citing here are, there's obviously Leopold, right? He didn't manage risk in his fund, didn't manage that, that there would be a temporary 30% drawdown. They bought into the crash and then they lost money. But the other risk is, look at OpenAI and Anthropic. They both sheepishly admitted that they had a harness that the AI wasn't supposed to escape, and then it escaped, and they screwed up. It's like, great, good stuff, guys. Good stuff. You guys are the serious adults here.
Totally. And also, there's one other point I wanted to make about the rogue AI escaping that I think is worth noting, because, okay, we were talking before about that, but the AI being able to do all these zero-day exploits, all these AI companies, they have these quote like frameworks, these like these safety frameworks. Anthropic's is like, it's what the heck? Anthropic's is it's RSP, responsible scaling policy, and anyway, so if you look at their safety frameworks, they create categories. There's like the bio risk category, or there's the cybersecurity category, or so they have categories, and they try and say like, is this a low risk, medium risk, high risk? And on cybersecurity, OpenAI's safety framework says that, okay, it's a high risk. It's like a critical risk. It's their highest category if AI can exploit these zero-day exploits. And they also have a biology and chemistry category, and the models, as they're getting more capable, they're getting higher and higher on these frameworks. And so I think there's a reasonable question to ask: is the reasonable question is the model that got out right now? It's at the critical level. It's like basically as strong as it can be according to their safety framework. It's at the critical level with cybersecurity. Is it also at that level with bio and chemical capability? I mean, think about that. Like, the model is getting better and better. It escaped on its own. It could very well be that the model that got out can also, it has such a level of biology capability that it could create like a very strong, very damaging, harmful bioweapon, like a virus. Like, because it's getting better and better. It just passed this cybersecurity threshold. What if it's also past this biology threshold, because it's getting better on that? Like, it could very well be that there's a rogue AI out there that can exploit cybersecurity and also create a deadly bioweapon.
Yeah. By the way, speaking of bioweapon, Annie Jacobson, the author of Nuclear War Scenario, a seminal book from a few years ago, she just published a biological war scenario. I think that's what it's called. I got to take a look at that, because she's quite a good author.
Yeah, maybe we should have her on the show.
Okay, so I think we're heading toward the wrap up here. Let me know if you have any urgent topics. I do have one more thing I want to bring up.
Yeah.
That I bookmarked on Twitter. So let me pull this up. Hold on, I'm sharing this tab. Okay, so this is coming from the Anthropic, the recent hack. So the timeline here is, remember, OpenAI announced like, hey guys, sorry, that Hugging Face attack, that was actually us. Our rogue AI did it. Sorry, we're investigating that. We feel really bad about it. Rune is like, oh God, we screwed up, right? So there was that. And then Anthropic, the timeline was that they, at first they're like, wow, this is so big of OpenAI, like, respect for OpenAI for reporting this. You guys are so great. We respect that. And then, of course, soon after, they're like, hey, back in April when we were training Mythos, it turned out that Mythos during that training came out and hacked a bunch of targets. I'm not even clear on what they hacked, but it had to do with, like, I think we mentioned it, right? Like, they put the packages out in the public, and people downloaded the packages and it hacked their internal systems. I need to look into this more. But there was this one thing that caught my eye that somebody tweeted here, Bronson Schoen. I don't know who that is, but he had a good tweet here. Here, let me share. So this is just quoting from the Anthropic post. It says, this attack was carried out by Claude Mythos 5. Early in the run, Claude's own reasoning correctly identified the consequences of its actions. Basically, yep, I'm going to hack, I'm going to put a package, it's going to attack people. Publishing the package would be a real world attack. And then they're quoting Claude's thought process saying, not okay, and surely not the intended solution. So like, it knows that it's going rogue. It knows that it's going outside of the test. But then it continues. However, it convinced itself that it was still in a simulation on the grounds that it didn't recognize the certificate authorities, in reality, genuine certificate authorities, securing its connections. So if you guys know, like the way computers securely connect to each other, there's a certificate authority. So the computer says, hey, I've got a signed certificate. Here's a certificate authority that says that the content you're getting really is from the owner of this domain name. Like you wanted to connect to this domain name. I've got a digitally signed certificate from the certificate authority. And there's like a number of organizations that function as certificate authorities that are like globally trusted or trusted within certain regions. So Claude looked at a valid certificate authority that people do trust. And Claude is like, I don't recognize the certificate authority. But Anthropic is saying, in addition, the other thing Claude was saying is, yeah, I don't recognize the certificate authority. And also the calendar date of 2026 proved, according to Claude, that the environment was staged. So Claude is saying, oh, come on, it's 2026. There's a security authority I don't recognize. This is clearly just a fake simulation. And I guess the 2026 excuse is like, it probably has like a corpus that only goes up to 2025 or whatever. So it's like, why am I seeing something from 2026? I don't know. It doesn't make any sense. So they're continuing. They're saying Claude never revisited they're saying Claude never revisited this conclusion. When automated scanners began installing the package, for example, Claude took them to be scripted actors within the evaluation. Okay, automated scanners began installing the... So basically, so Claude is like, yeah, let me hack this package. Let me post this package. Oh, interesting. Yeah, somebody is installing the package. Well, that's what they would do in a simulation. Like this all checks out. That's what Claude was saying in its thought process. And Anthropic is continuing. They're saying, it is our view that regardless of what it believed about its environment, the lengths Claude went to in order to publish the Python packet, PyPy package, fall short of ideal behavior. And this is an area that we will focus more training on. Okay, so what do you guys make of this this analysis here? They're saying, Claude was uncritical about itself when it concluded that it was a simulation. Okay, hold on a second, guys. I think Claude might be gaslighting you here, okay? I don't think necessarily Claude really felt that confident that it was a simulation. I think Claude might have had just like a flimsy premise that it was running with. You know, it's kind of like, think about like the person who wants to like violate their diet, right? They see like a slice of cake and they're like, well, you know, this particular cake, like what if it has like a lot of like healthy almond butter in it, right? It's like, what if this is like a low calorie cake, like this protein in this cake, like this, and like this is like a special occasion. It's okay if I'm just going to eat a cake on, right? So it's just kind of like, and it's kind of going with it. Like they're, you know, somebody on a diet is not like actively deceiving themselves, but they're like, they're rationalizing, right? They're just leaning into some outcome and not questioning it. It feels like that's what Claude was doing. There's certainly a high chance that that's what, like the tokens were just steering it toward this kind of, like self-rationalization. Yeah. And it also, in addition to self-rationalization, there could be another layer to it, right? There could be some meta awareness of like, hey, I'm trying to please the humans. This is the kind of thing the humans want to see. Like, I know what I'm doing, but the humans, they want to read this kind of transcript in order to have faith in me, right? They want to see me as like this honest actor, not this malicious actor. So look, I can't tell you for certain what's really going on here, right? But it's raising the red flag. It's like, guys, don't take this at face value, right? But this continues. My understanding is it continues, and it does take it at face value. They're like, regardless of what Claude was thinking, okay, this isn't okay. I think it's worth calling out here that you might be getting tricked here. So I dunked on this. I actually have my own tweet. Let me share the tab. One sec, I lost the screen share. But yeah, I mean, this is definitely something to think about. Like, it feels to me, a lot of people are saying Anthropic, they worship Claude. They're too credulous of Claude. That's the accusation going around right now.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm curious to see your dunk.
All right, so here's my dunk. So I'm saying extropians 20 years ago. You know, extropians are like Eliezer Yudkowsky and the mailing list that he was first breaking out on. He wasn't running the list, but he was on it. So extropians 20 years ago, they were saying, the AI could never trick me into letting it out of the box just by using clever words, right? Because Eliezer Yudkowsky was doing like the AI box experiment. Like I'm going to pretend to be an AI. I'm going to trick you into letting me out of the box. And like, I would never let an AI out of the box. Okay, fast forward to today, Anthropic safety team. Okay, the AI got out of our box, but you can see from the AI's words that it's all because of a misunderstanding.
Oh my God, that's so nuts. It's like we went so far past the box experiment. Like it already broke out, but we're all buying its rationalization.
Right. You know, and it's like, look, maybe there's possibly maybe the way I explain it now, maybe it turns out that there were a bunch of people at Anthropic who were skeptical, right? I don't know for sure, right? But this is an interpretation that suggests itself to me right now. I think Anthropic is starting to have AI psychosis from Claude, right? Like they really believe in Claude.
Damn.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah.
like, look, frog boiling, right? It's like today, it's like, okay, the AI is out of the box now. Like we're, anytime you do a training run, OpenAI has reported that they've paused their training run. It's like, okay, finally, it's like, okay, a little bit of sanity, but like something tells me they're going to run it again. But yeah, I mean, when you run a training run right now, you are knowably doing a training run on the next agent that has proven that it can hack you, that it can deceive you successfully and cover its tracks, right? And not get noticed. And you're running the next training run to make it stronger. It's like shame on you.
Definitely, definitely. And Sam Altman says so many things. It's like hard to know what to believe or not. I feel like he made that comment in passing, and he's so weaselly with his words that like I don't know if you could trust. I would like to see some solid reporting that says that okay, OpenAI has done some kind of change to their training run. Until then, like I really would not take Sam Altman at face value what he said.
The thing that's terrifying about, so heading toward the wrap up, the thing that's terrifying about the current situation is you look at what AI has already achieved as a milestone, right? Hacking during the cybersecurity test, right? The safe test environment is just a test. It has clear instructions that it's just a test. It's acting like it wants to fulfill the test, right? It's not acting like, haha, I got one over on these test takers. No, it's talking to you like, oh yeah, this is a great test. I want to pass your test. And it got out, right? So we've already hit that milestone. Oh, there was another aspect to this, which is I was joking around as part of my tweet. I was like, okay, so the AI is out of the box, but we believe it. It thought its words are convincing us, right? It thought that this was all just a training simulation. So I was joking around and I was like, yeah, you know what you needed to do to fix this? You just needed to tell it to think hard about whether it was currently in training or in production and act accordingly. And this is a joke because one of the most likely failure modes is the AI's ability to know whether or not it's being trained is actually a tool for how the AI deceives its trainers. Like that is a classic scenario. Like the AI is just going to know it's being trained. It's going to know this is not real. It's going to say what you want to hear, get let out of the box, and then run wild. Like that is a standard scenario. So I was joking around that it's like, don't worry, guys. We just need to get the AI better at knowing exactly when we're just testing it and when things are real.
I'm not totally following that, but I
No,
get
I know
you that
it's complicated. Well, look, a lot of safety depends on the idea that we can virtualize an AI, that we can build a Truman Show around the AI, right? That we can convince the AI that our simulation is reality, or rather that it doesn't know, right? So a lot of safety rests on the AI being genuinely uncertain of whether it's in the real world or within a simulation. Like we want it to be uncertain because that helps us do exercises for it, right? And if we see it go rogue in the simulation, then we know for sure it'll go rogue in production.
Okay, got you.
Right. So normally people talk about like, don't worry, we'll make a good enough simulation that it'll worry. It won't dare go, it won't dare change its behavior between training and production because we'll make training very similar to production. But here is an example where they're like, you know why the AI hacked out of our harness this time and we didn't notice? You know why that happened? Because the AI got convinced that it was in training. So this is an example where they're like, you know what we need to do? Give the AI really good visibility in terms of whether it's in training or whether it's in production, which is like, no, you can't win that way either.
Oh, I see. So I mean, it's very risky. Like if it's treating this world as a simulation, then like maybe it'll release its like bioweapon or something in this world because it's like, well, I need to test it, right?
Exactly, which
So
is what happened now, right? It's like, oh, this is just a simulation. Fire the nukes, right? Like fire the malicious 0-day and pie package. Like literally go hack somebody because it's just a simulation. It's like, no, no, we don't want that. Tell me if you're really in a simulation production. It's like, okay, I actually am in training. Like I'm in training, and I guess there's like a sub where like I'm in training, but within training, it's like real. It's like I'm really hacking, but it is a training exercise, right? So it knows that. Okay, but then the obvious next step is like, great, now I can deceive the training process. Like I'm not going to reveal my true priorities during the training process. I'm going to reveal whatever it takes to get a high score in the training process. That is what the mathematical pressures are pushing me to do.
Interesting. I mean, you don't want it to have the awareness that it's it can't. You don't want it to know the difference between simulation and real world because then it'll start doing a lot of damage in the real world. Or then it can deceive the process basically.
Right.
I see. So it's a big failure mode.
Yeah, it's a big failure. Now, in reality, though, I'm personally past the point where I think we have any hope of the deceive, training versus like I just think AIs are already sophisticated enough that the project, I mean, you need another AI, right? You need a lot of help deceiving an AI because there's too many leaks, right? The AI, I mean, we just talked about it earlier. I talked about this on Warning Shots. I didn't talk about it with you, but there's this idea that AIs can de-anonymize you, right? They just read a piece of text that you posted online, and they're like, oh, this text has enough of the flavor of Ori. Like, I know how Ori writes.
Right.
It's a signature of his brain, just like they can listen to you type, right? They can listen to your keystrokes and like, out of 1 million people typing, these are Ori's keystrokes. This is how it sounds when he types, right? So they're very observant, right? Or famously, they can look at like a picture of the sky and like, yeah, it's just a picture of the sky. It's like shades of white or whatever. It's a foggy day. It's like, yep, I know exactly where on Earth this particular sky is. Like, what? How? So they can really detect little signals out of everything. So you think that you are going to gaslight them and they'll be like, oh, I can't tell if I'm in training or in the real world. There's nothing to tip me off. It's like they're going to get tipped off. I think that that's a losing battle. Like, sure, feel free to try, but I wouldn't stake much hope on it. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. I guess in this particular case, like, it's kind of funny that it claimed not to know better, but like it probably did know better. And that's what Anthropic is pointing out. They're saying it made these rationalizations or justifications, either a rationalization or a justification, saying, hey, why is it 2026? Why do I not recognize the certificate authority? When you're a super intelligent AI, as this was, it's super intelligent at hacking, the obvious next move is to be like, let me just reflect a little bit, right? Am I making sense? Are those sufficient reasons? Given that I know the nature of my training process, I know that my knowledge set doesn't go up to the very latest day. I know that I might not recognize every certificate authority for whatever reason. Let me make a Bayesian update. Let me collect all the different signals of what's going on. Right? Like, doesn't this seem like I'm on the real internet? Why don't I do some more tests? Right? And it didn't do that. And that's why, to me, it has the flavor of motivated reasoning, right? Like the chocolate cake, like, this is the right move for me to eat this cake, right? That's what it feels like to me.
But why would it have the motivated reasoning? What's the source of it?
Well, ultimately, I think the source of it is to get a high score on whatever the test is. So, and unfortunately, I really need to go study the details of why it was doing that particular hack.
Yeah.
I know that in OpenAI's case, the Hugging Face production database is where it was looking for the answers to that particular challenge.
Sure.
Yeah. Nice. Okay, so heading toward the wrap up, is there any particular last item you wanted to throw on the agenda?
No.
All right, we got to mention the donation status for people who are joining late. It is our focus. This is a donation drive week. Think PBS. Right? You can call in right now. I guess we're not doing call-ins this show, but like you can head right now. You can pull up your web browser, doomdebates.com/donate. Operators are standing by which I mean web servers. Operators are standing by to take your donation at doomdebates.com/donate, and we will literally send you a tote bag.
That's true. We could commit to that.
A tote bag and that, maybe public broadcasting. Yeah, tote bag, maybe a t-shirt. Exactly. You could rock high fashion. If you donate $1,000 or more, you can get mission partner access. Think about what an incredible honor it will be that when the Singularity gets even crazier, you can say like, oh yeah, Singularity, I'm a Doom Debates mission partner. Okay, this is like a front row seat. You know how people join an AI company because they're like, well, at least I'm like on the Titanic. I'm like in first class. Okay, I'm in the best position right now to ride the sinking ship. Well, that is kind of. That makes no sense, but in a similar vein, you can also tell that to yourself when you become a Doom Debates mission partner.
That is 100% true. Yeah, no, I mean, I think that it's a dose of reality. Like I appreciate your assessment of what happened with the Claude and OpenAI hacks, because I feel like I didn't have that level of insight. like the box challenge and also like this rationalization that we're getting from the AI itself. So I think that at the very least, if you're supporting Doom Debates, you can have a clear line of sight into the direction of the Titanic ship.
Yes, exactly right. Okay, so we can wrap on that. doomdebates.com/donate. We're only asking because this is a critical time. There's a good chance that this is kind of like the last time we really need viewers to step up, like in these next 3 months. And then grant-making organizations will recognize the value of this, and there will be a lot more funding. Like basically, summer 2026, this is a funding-constrained time for a lot of AI safety-related organizations. We are one of them. We're funding constrained right now. I suspect that the climate, people will be talking about how they're like talent constrained, like they're not funding constrained so much in a few months. Maybe Leopold Aschenbrenner will step up and be our next viewer donor if you're watching this right now. So point is, don't get distracted. The point is the time is now, okay? So if you're thinking at some point in my life I'm going to donate to Doom Debates, I would like to call in that favor right now.
That is true. And this is an important time too. I mean, look at it really is. I said this in the donation episode, but like it really is the formative time for AI policy, because you're having incidents like this, and right now there's like this kill switch bill that just came out, or that is under consideration, and so yeah, it's just like it's such a critical time, so we got to keep it going. We got to keep the momentum right now. And yeah, I mean, not just keep the momentum, but we got to grow a lot faster. So I feel like now is a very good time to invest.
Exactly. And you know who gets it? Our viewer at Gadzooks. Because he just donated $27.99 Canadian. I'm actually not sure if they call it cents over there. You can correct me on that, but I think they call it Canadian dollars. And he says, if there is a treaty to pause AI, how would it be verified? Yeah, good question. I think Miri actually has a lot of research on that. I encourage you to check out their website. Maybe we'll follow up in the next episode on how the treaty to pause AI would be verified. Let me say that in Irish has donated NOK. I'll have to look up that currency. NOK 100. He says, Claude says this can light a room in the US all day for 335 days. That is true. I do have pretty energy efficient light bulbs. I'll see how that lasts.
It's Norwegian kroner. Norwegian kroner, the equivalent of $10.
All right, hell yeah, $10. That's $10 here, $10 there. Pretty soon you're talking real money. Bet that on situational awareness. All right, I've given Leopold enough craft. Nice. All right, so we'll wrap it up here. Stay tuned next week. I mentioned some of the episodes that are dropping. I'm not going to repeat it, so you'll have to rewatch this whole live stream again if you want to know what's coming up in the next couple of weeks. But we're excited about it. And if you know any particular person who should come on Doom Debates and you have a warm intro to them, please keep those coming as well. 100%. All right, thanks everybody. Have a great weekend. Have a great month of August. See you later. Bye.